What's going on, everybody? Thank you, everybody that came in early. Tuppus, you have me laughing. Tuppus SOB. Rocco's not going after Michael Moody. He's on a hiatus. So, still waiting for the debates to start right away. But I got everything set up for once it does start. I got a couple different coverages I'm going to pop back and forth between, as well as also going to cover the interview between Tucker Carlson and Donald Trump. So that's the plan here, I guess. But yeah, hope everybody's doing well. Oh, let's see. Get situated here. Who's everybody got for favorites tonight? Who do they think's going to shine? I'm kind of curious, to be honest. I, for one, don't even know why Chris Christie's there. But to each their own, I guess. I think one notification I was looking for that there's somebody that's going to be covering some of the debates right now, but he's just kind of like preemptively talking about it. So I might get that fired up for us to listen to as well. I understand why notifications are poop. Let's see if I can find it. What's going on, little Tyler? How you doing, man? Who do you got for candidates tonight? Are we watching the RNC debates? I'm going to be listening to it here and kind of going over it a little bit. There should be some that are scheduled here shortly. I know they're only doing live on a streaming platform for Fox, and it's also going to be live through Rumble as well. Let's see what this one's covering. I know they haven't started yet, so. And I'm also going to cover Steven Crowder's coverage of it as well, because he does a way more in-depth coverage than some news agencies that are actually covering it. Finishing up your nightly chores? No worries. What do you think, Mr. Moody? Do you think Michael McIntosh is going to show up at the debates? He's not on the list. I want to see how Ramaswamy does as well. Kind of curious. Right Side Broadcasting on Rumble. Yeah, it's hosted on Rumble. I believe Rumble and Fox from their streaming platforms are the only ones that are allowed to cover it right now. But they're just going over what they think people should do. I hope he does. That would be interesting. Be interesting to say the least. I couldn't imagine how that would work. I don't think they would let him anywhere near the stage, but to each their own. Gotta have faith. Oh, we got some cigars tonight. Gonna have some blondies and enjoy this. Trump creating on X. I'm getting my tacos and beer ready, everybody says. All right. What up, Emily? No, I'm saying they wouldn't even let him call in. If they wouldn't even let him call in through the phone or show up in person because he's not running for the same candidacy as like everybody is. Herding cats. I got Fox pulled up right now and they're covering it, but I can already tell some of the BS they're going to cover. They're talking about Giuliani right now, and I really want to cover the what's it called? Oh, Brian Tyler Cohen's already got it covered too. Gavin Newsom 2028. Gosh. I can't even tell if this is a trolling channel or not, just because of the random stuff. You see, like Biden 2024. I didn't even know people like that were out there. The kitten's back from the vet. Both sprayed. The one I thought was a boy is a girl. Gosh. Trump 2024. Yeah, we'll cover the Tucker Carlson debate with, well, it's not going to be a debate, just a interview he's doing with Donald Trump later tonight. I honestly think there was no reason for Donald Trump to show up at the debates. He didn't need to. He's what, 28 points ahead? 26 points ahead? Ron DeSantis, you're not even close. I'm just going to sit this one out and give you a shot. Oh my, bud. What up, Leah? How you doing tonight? You got everybody tuning in. I appreciate it. Let's see where they're at on this. I think we still got another 20 minutes before it actually starts.
Because he's got the people who are already in the Trump camp. I don't really see the benefit for him to debate against a number of these, anti-Trump Republicans. It's not like he's going to bring any of them over. So at this point, kind of just keep himself clean, let Ron DeSantis take the vast majority of these attacks on stage because he's the second in line in terms of vote share right now. And so it really does make sense, at least from a political perspective.
From a political perspective, he's already got the nominee. The rest of these guys have to fucking change the fucking mindset of everybody else voting. It's so weird to me. No, my impressions are shit. I don't do a good Trump. It's a girl, both of them. Hello, Emma, and hello, Tyler. I have a question. What time do this interview start? What? I'm going to start covering the debates and listening to the debates here. Probably within the next half hour, I'm going to have a little more heavy coverage. I'm kind of just touching base with everybody and letting them know when it starts. Sean Barish. I don't know who that is. Noah from The Daily Show, that used to work The Daily Show. His is not a really bad Trump impression either. I hate Ben Shapiro's. Ben Shapiro's is like the worst. Steven Crowder's got a decent one. I bet another one that does a good one is guy from Mad TV. I can't think of his name now. Big, heavier set guy. Can't think of his name though. Dogs rule and cats drool. All right. It's not Homeward Bound, is it? Is that what you're talking about? Snoozing on the back of the couch. All right, here's my next question. Do you guys think Biden will show up for the Democratic debates? Or do you think he'll just get the nominee? Tigers and Lions. Only cat like. That's I like. Oh. No, Biden is taking a break from vacation to watch the debates tonight. He'll just get the nominee. Yeah, I have a pretty good determination that it's going to be Donald Trump versus Biden. I don't see, because I don't think they're going to give RFK a chance to even talk. Robert Kennedy's not going to get any chance. The what? The Mountain Conspiracy? Conspiracy's that Mountain Dew conspiracy theory? Oh, you gotta tell me about it. What's the Mountain Dew conspiracy theory? Trump should pick Robert Kennedy as his VP. Ooh, that would be nice. I wish he would. I'm actually gonna pick the sanctimonious. Because I think I could teach him a lot of things. I know a lot of things. What up, Lone Wolf? How we doing? There's a conspiracy about the new flavors. What? You got to explain this more. Are they made from the tears of? I don't know. I don't know what's the conspiracy about it. I agree, Leah, but at the same time, he wouldn't have to switch parties to be the vice president. He could still be on the same level. He could still be a vice, and I think the Republican that he is actually closer to conservative anyway. Got white cookies tonight. By this weekend, I said so. I said a week tops. I said a week is about the longest I could see him going on, and he'll try to come on, and his camera will be off. He still hasn't figured out how to just turn the camera off. So I assume he'll just go on and like flip his camera down and play music or something. And if he gets too many laughing emojis, then take a longer break. Or it'll spark back up again and he'll start fighting with people. I've given it 72 hours. You guys aren't over it yet? Mountain Dew Pitch Black. Oh, you think they're just repeating the same flavors and calling it something else? Is that what you're trying to say? We'll be back within 2 days, says little Tyler. Gosh, you guys are more interested in that than the debate. Oh, man. That's funny. See, Michael, I was telling you, man, I think it was a work, and they were trying to rope Rocco into it. And I knew you were pissed off. That's why I'm glad you cleared the air when you did too, Michael. It didn't do any good to double down on all the shit they were feeding Rocco. And that Rocco was feeding everybody else. Has anybody heard anything out of Angel? Ain't seen him in a week now. He tried to pop in my chat the other day, but it kept kicking me off when he came on because I was playing some media at the same time. And I said something in the chat, and then he tried to click on it, and right when he started to click me off, I had to boot him out. I was like, dude, I can't keep getting kicked out every time you want to come on. Just tell me you want to come on, and then I can know that you're coming up, and I can drop the media down. But that was the last time I talked to him. Chris Christie, yeah. They were doing coverage on Steven Crowder, and they were like, well, we have checked all the local donut shops, and Chris Christie has not been cited yet, but we're still looking around. All right, check you soon.
Issue. This is an issue that would impact the entirety of this country. So that would eventually jump to the state court, to the federal court system. And then, of course, the wild card is that if and when it gets appealed all the way up to the Supreme Court, it could go either way in the sense that, look, this is a Supreme Court of partisan Republicans. If anybody could imagine a world where Clarence Thomas suddenly decides that that he's gonna deny Donald Trump's wishes here, then I'd like to smoke what you're smoking. But there's two thoughts here at play that kind of conflict with each other. And on one hand, you have a bunch of partisan Republicans who a third of which, like I said, were appointed by Donald Trump himself, and so it kind of defies logic to think that Trump wouldn't benefit from those very people, from the presence of those very people on the script. But on the flip side, if they basically say, okay, Donald Trump incited an insurrection, but he can, which they're not going to come out and say, but if by virtue of Donald Trump inciting an insurrection, that they rule that he's still allowed to run, and that the provisions of the Constitution don't apply, then
they'll have to prove that before he's still going to be able to run. They don't have anything to get him for incitement. Gosh. It's just a goddamn dog and pony show. They're trying to keep him tied up so he doesn't have to do the debates. And it turns out he's just so many points ahead that he doesn't have to do the debates anyway. It doesn't make any sense for him to show up with a chance to lower his score. And all they're going to do is ask him about the court cases, which he's not even allowed to talk about. Man. All right. About 12 minutes. We're going to get into it. There might be a drinking game attached to this. If we do the Crowder coverage, we'll have a drinking game attached to it. Because why not? As long as you're old enough. Otherwise, just drink water. 2024 is almost here. That is true. We ain't going backwards. God damn. I just got to make sure if I do Crowder stuff, I can't fucking... I got to interject a lot. I don't want to get... Actually, I don't even think YouTube protects him like that anymore. But his coverage would be really good on Rumble as well. Just because they have a stand over at the RNC in Milwaukee, so I know Alex Jones is over there working with him. and it's supposed to be pretty entertaining. I definitely gonna have to cover that one. I want some chicken. I don't think my daughter's gonna let anybody cook up her chickens. She loves her chickens. I do not see that happening anytime soon. Welcome back. Actually, gosh, Mud Rabbit, you missed a great show last night. Or, I don't think you made it into the second show. I did a show after I got home, and Pesci came on, Chris Schmidt came on, and KC that you were talking to in the chat came on, and we went over all of the recent things I had missed apparently in the last 24 hours. I covered some videos, and it was quite entertaining to say the least. And then I put it private, so my bad about that. But when that happened, I don't know, and I was kind of hoping that Rocco had seen it, but he ended up deactivating everything on his YouTube or shutting off everything on his YouTube and said he wasn't going to live stream anymore after last night. And I'm just wondering what kind of like reckoning he had or awakening he had. Because I feel like it sounds like his baby mom has been telling him that, like that he needs to, just take some time away from the internet. Everybody's been saying that. Take some time away from the internet, grow yourself, and then all of a sudden last night you woke up with a new goal in mind. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I also played an episode of Creeker Review, which was the show that Rocco and Jake Hudson had together. I have the only existing episode left. It's on my members only side, but since my members got taken away, I wasn't able to share it with anybody, so I shared it last night. And then Cards on Deck dropped a video last night where they covered one of my videos when I did a fire stream. And Giga Pickles was on, and a few other people. Jimmy Rizzo stopped in. Gosh, we have so many good jokes about Jimmy Rizzo and Giggle Pickles should do a show together. Or there were some pretty good ones. It was a good little crowd last night. All right, so we're getting ready to start here in about 6 minutes. Sorry, a little early. Wanted to give everybody some time to stop in. Now we'll actually have something to cover here shortly. Because I believe it actually starts premiering at 8. GP and Rizzo show. Gosh, could you imagine what it would be like if you listen to Collective Soul music? What is Collective Soul music? I might have, I guess. Unless it's a band name. I don't think I've ever heard it. Collective Soul is a band. No, I've never heard of them. Can't say I have. Mud Rabbit, do you listen to them? They sing Shine. Oh, okay. What do you guys think? What would you call their genre? What up, Canadian? Welcome back. The rock music. Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out. Sounds good. Trump 24 is Canadian. He's not in the debates tonight. Who do you got in the debates tonight, Canadian? Who do you think's going to shine tonight? Or does none of it matter? And it's like, who is it anyway? Everything's made up and the points don't matter. Trump will show them who's the boss. Otherwise, you're fired. Care less about some other losers. I'm still curious to see who's going to pull it off tonight. Someone's going to have to shine tonight to even be considered, because I can't see it going any other way.
Jury and with the entirety of that process again, which I imagine, if Fani Willis is going to try the first time and there is a hung jury, that she would absolutely try it again. But it would at least buy Donald Trump time, because all he's looking for here is just to delay this thing as long as humanly possible. The more he can delay, maybe a witness.
He's not even going to delay it.
Maybe a witness, maybe their memory becomes more fuzzy. I mean, there's so many things.
He has no reason
that
to.
Is the whole point of Donald Trump trying to push this thing as far.
I think he's got no reason to delay it, and there's no incentive for him to. I think that's the courts themselves are to delay it. If I had to choose, it would be Vivek or DeSantis. Can't delay it. The trial? Oh, yeah, they can delay it. I mean, no one in this country actually has a right to a speedy trial, no matter what they might think. Oh, hold on. Where's I'm using torch? Look at that. I can't find this was regular torch. We might have to. I don't know where I put my canisters. God damn. That's party foul right there. What's fake news, Mud Rabbit? I think DeSantis is a better candidate than Donald Trump. But I don't think DeSantis is going to beat Donald Trump. You got all the speakers up still. They're not even walking people on stage yet. Oh, I'm not listening to MSN. This is a private gentleman that's covering this. Called BTC, I guess, is the guy that I'm listening to right now. I don't. The people in the chat are fucking wild. They said DeSantis is an anarchist. Or is the Antichrist? No, wow. Thought he corrected himself. The Antichrist, not an anarchist. I'm going to check out Crowder's coverage. It's covered by Fox and CNN. I just hope something good happens in 2024, I believe. and I am very interested in this stuff. It's not a matter of believing, just kind of watching and seeing what happens, I guess. You know? I don't think there's anything more to it than that. Wait and see what happens. Enjoy the show. Yeah, probably the best way to put it. Just enjoy the show. Give us your money. All those fun things. Subscriptions. Come on. Come on. What are we doing here? Welcome back. WWG1 WGA. Them trying to convict Trump makes me want to vote for him more. Yeah, most people actually feel that way. Trump will win in a landslide. Oh, yeah, I agree. I'm glad you're enjoying it. It's definitely going to be entertaining. That's for damn sure. He's showing everyone that the RNC and the DNC are useless. I am not voting. Michael, do your due diligence. Get out there and vote. As long as you're old enough, why not? What's the harm in voting? Yeah, I did see that. DeSantis was endorsed by Soros. Got that Soros Clinton money. Got to keep an eye on him. I just think he's a better candidate when it comes to actually knowing anything about politics. I think Donald Trump's a good businessman. I think he did good things when he was a president, but I think he was just too divisive by nature. I think the country will easily be more divided under his leadership. And he's not really good at making people come together, to be honest. And I think there has to be a level to that, no matter how good of a businessman you are, how much money you make the country. Even if, Michael, even if you want to go in and show up and write in Michael McIntosh, you can do that as well. You don't have to vote for the people that they have on the candidates. I would just say, worry about your local election, go in there and worry about local stuff so you know what's going on locally. Get involved, man. Get involved on all the levels, because you blink and it'll be over and you're like, oh gosh, now we're in some shit. Candidates tonight are Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, Tim Scott, Chris Christie, and Vivek Ramaswamy. Should just go right to the coverage on Rumble, but we'll wait a minute. You just have to secure your vote so no one steals it. Yeah, know that you're actually. I mean, I get it. I feel like some people don't feel like their vote matters, but it doesn't mean don't go out and vote. Speaking facts on that, I just like how he ran the country and put America and Americans first. Yeah, I think he did, and he didn't start any wars. lowest unemployment rate. I mean, it was timing wise, it just didn't work out so well with COVID, and I don't think he had any control over that. And I think he handled things as shitty as everybody else did that walked into COVID. You can vote for Bugs Bunny as a write-in. At least no one can take it for Biden. Yeah, that's true. Republican needs to do early voting like the Democrats do. All but one are losers. Vivek is on target. It doesn't have the backing. I don't know. Vivek just said he was gonna, if he became president, he was gonna come out and pardon Biden's. He said that on an interview with what's his face, Tucker Carlson. I voted for Kanye West in the last election cycle. Yeah, can't confirm. It was between two supposedly racist people, and I thought at the time I was picking the less racist person. Turns out Kanye West flipped a little bit after that. Trump all the way. Let's hope Trump doesn't blow this one over. Trump is the second toughest SOB right now. I'd rather Trump than DeSantis. And that statement will not get him on the ticket. People are pissed at Biden right now. Well, yeah, I don't even think everybody's pissed at him as much as they're like, you're a feeble old man. Like, we kind of feel bad for you. Like, it's not as simple as, you know, it's not even as simple as politics when you're failing.
The weird screen there. It's okay. It's going to be better than that tonight. It's the debate stream. It's going on right now.
So we're going to play a drinking game with it. If you guys want to play, you can.
We'll talk about that too. You can use promo code right now. Crowder GOP debate. You get $10 off right at Mugclub, LidoCrowder.com/Mugclub, or use the hashtag Crowder GOP debate hashtag. What people used to say hashtag? Not anymore. Right. Yeah. But we don't say anymore pound sign. I don't necessarily know what people use, but we'll be live streaming this debate here from Rumble. We actually have a seat, a booth.
A lot of people will vote for Biden because he's handing them money. I don't think he is.
And any candidates who have the stones to sit down.
I think it's more they keep paying into these systems that feel like they are supporting them. They do it every 4 years. All of a sudden, they want to open the borders. They want to do all this other stuff because, yes, it would bring in Democratic voters. The people that open the door for you, when you get into the party, if they said, who's the nicest person at the party, it's probably the guy that opened the door for you. It's that simple. They make it out to be a lot more than it is. I don't think it's as cut and dry.
Vivek, looks like I think Darren's just going to grab him and then walk him over. His feet won't even touch the ground. Okay, fella. Oh, great. So, by the way, we have the YouTube dump button. So, if you see this at any point tonight, that means head on over to Rumble because we're live streaming on Rumble, which is where you should be anyway. You just click that button below and you get to join up at Mugclub. So, question to you right off the bat: what do you expect? Who do you think will be a front runner? We're going to give you some predictions here tonight. Kind of go through what we think are the need to knows, and by that I mean none of it is really necessary. None of it's a need to know, and I don't know why you would want to know it, but it pays to be informed. We have G. Morgan Jr. here with me. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Fresh off a flight from Milwaukee to get back here.
It's a horrible town. I mean, I don't say it from an elitist point of view as far as a big flyover. It's just a very bad place.
It has bad beer lists at a lot of places. I have to go to 4 different spots to get a good beer.
You're not a fan of Milwaukee or Rainbow?
No.
Let me know if it's coming into.
I just thought this was a Midwestern beer town.
Like I said, like,
Can I get a triple or a quad somewhere? I don't know.
Or if we want to go louder, let me know.
Well, first up, of course, you have here today. I think it's not third chair. It's like a joint chair. It's like a semi-swing growing out of my shoulder. A gargoyle, really. Nick, I can't imagine. I'm excited. I've almost seen it. You can follow, who, by the way, you have this date right there. You can go to September 15th.
Roseanne.
Rob's Comedy Play.
I think Roseanne's being taken advantage of. I think she's slipping too.
Yes.
getting over the bid.
Imagine DeSantis as president. His first move would be a complete matrix.
Yeah, I scored some.
I don't know about that.
Did you use it on yourself?
You got a combination kid for a subway back there. I got you pushed on the trip already, so I want to thank whoever got that.
Yeah, we have no idea that wouldn't be in the studio. So hey, before we go on to giving our predictions, we were down there in Milwaukee, and you actually, well, you set this up for people. We actually got an interview or semi-interview with Vivek. Right?
Yeah, we did. So Vivek actually had a bus set up. He had a really, really cool setup right there, right in front of.
Oh, one thing. Sorry, really quick. First off, Tim, can you put that down in the lower third there, just there, the stream, so people know that we'll bring up. There will be a pre-taped interview that Tucker Carlson has uploaded to his Twitter, his X, with Donald Trump.
Right.
I think they're airing it the live people. We know it's pre-taped, and we will be covering that as well with the highlights. You can get it all here in this one place. Sorry, Joe, the cut.
No, you're fine. He actually had a really cool setup with his bus, and his team set up like this exclusive event for everybody. He was the one person who did something cool at this event. All the other candidates just kind of were getting into town, kind of there, and so we had one of our guys go into this. They had the
rest of the country was locked down.
Hey, we didn't give that back. Sorry about that, guys. But
did you say Vivek?
Yeah, I never thought DeSantis was horrible. I just think they thought of him as a threat.
It was a very nice.
Like they had to have thought of him as a threat, or they wouldn't have tried to be so aggressive about it.
Like it was. I would go to it and be like, "Oh, this is cool." They had a beer garden there. Maybe that's why all the other places had crappy beer on music at that place. But we asked him some questions because you guys want to know what these guys actually think about some of this
crap other than Biden.
Oh gosh, I
think that's going to happen a whole lot. No, yes, what are you talking about? I mentioned other Democrats.
Oh wait, sorry, we got to get these rules in.
President Trump is mentioned, you drink. Anytime 2020 January 6th is mentioned, ding, you drink. Anytime a moderator cuts off or interrupts a candidate, drink. Anytime 2020 January 6th is mentioned, ding, you drink. Anytime a moderator cuts off or interrupts a candidate, you drink. Any thug life moment, which I expect to probably most likely will come from Vivek, could be from Ron DeSantis. And then you finish your drink anytime a candidate mentions a Democrat other than Biden.
Oh gosh,
I think that's going to happen a whole lot.
No, yes.
Tell me if you ever mentioned other Democrats.
Yeah.
Like who?
Like Gavin Newsom. Gretchen Whitmer.
Why would they mention Gavin Newsom?
Because that's who they're going to be running again.
So they'll have dings when all of these things come up. So if you guys want to play with me, I'm going to do my best to play.
Are we really going to do that every time they mention Trump or drinking?
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
How about every time somebody mentions Chris Christie's lobster pit?
What is he going to Gallagher?
Free and dripping. I don't think he needs a bib anymore. They just have an IV drip.
Yeah,
free.
It is.
It rises to the top. To my veins. Let's go to this package that you have from one of our on-the-ground reporters with Vivek earlier, and then that'll lead us into our predictions.
These potential lockdowns. Single day voting.
Wow. He said no mask mandates. He said we're going to have 1 day of voting, paper ballots. Like he's getting on it. Vivek is pretty straight up.
A little bit different answer. And it doesn't take a whole lot to make people go, oh, good, it's authentic.
Yes. Well, here are a couple of things that I want to go through. By the way, we also do have some other packages. You interviewed Carrie Lake down there. We also have Marjorie Taylor Greene and a few on-the-ground packages. Again, with people we'll be interviewing. Hit the like button. Told me I didn't think you. Let them know to comment below. And do consider signing up at my club. Let's go through the people who are running who will be at this debate. You have DeSantis, you have Vivek, you have Nikki Haley, you have Tim Scott, you have Mike Pence, Chris Christie, you have Asa Hutchinson. William, we'll call him William because every time I read it, I think of a woman's name. And you have Doug Burgum, who is I know he's the governor of North Dakota, but outside of that, no one really cares. But this is what's remarkable here. So here's one thing that I think a lot of other people are missing, and I want to hear from you guys. We're reading your chats here today.
I don't think anybody realizes how many, okay, if you're going to take, otherwise what the fuck is the point of polls? Like I know polls can be off, but if somebody is that much in the lead, why are they even pulling and talking about these people? Some of these people shouldn't even be up here.
everyone talks about Donald Trump not going to this, how that benefits him, right? I understand that. Really, if you're leading by double digits, okay. I understand that. It's sort of a risk he doesn't need to take. On the flip side, this is such an act of God. It's an act of mercy, a miracle for everyone else tonight that Donald Trump isn't there. Think about it for a second. If Donald Trump showed up, the best chance they have is maybe gaining some traction right now in his double digit. They would have had no chance if Donald Trump was there, because even if he wasn't winning, he would have burned down the whole ship. Think of the primaries. That's when he was the most, right? It was low energy Bush, small hands Marco, and Ted Cruz, your dad killed JFK. Where were you that day? Where were you? No one could prepare for it. Everyone left with blood on their face. The fact that he isn't there, people act as though Donald Trump is just not taking a risk for himself. Oh, why don't we talk about
Right, he just softball pitched it for everybody else. All right, I'm going to let you guys come up here and fucking talk for a little while because everybody's already heard me, and I'm going to fucking wipe the floor with you guys. What's going on, little me? Hope you're doing well, man. Trump and Mike. Yeah, Mike Pence and them have been divided for a while.
I'm talking about how much that benefits all of the other candidates. Is it me?
No. I think you're 100% correct. Like, these guys, their only shot is to try to get some traction tonight. And if Donald Trump is there, he sucks all the oxygen out of that place. Like, everybody's going to be focused on him.
Yeah.
You will really have to land some blows. Donald Trump is so fast on his feet, it's going to be really, really hard for them to do that. So I think you're right. Like, it's a blessing for them, but here's the thing.
We're playing a drinking game for the debates.
This may be one and done.
Going to have some fun.
Like, they don't have enough support to make it very far. We'll get into some of the campaign numbers, the percentages of, where they stand. They're just...
Oh, wait, I got to get you in on the bet, little me. So I think Chris Schmidt has, what do you say, by the weekend for the over-under on Rocco's return. And I'm pretty sure little me came out and said, I think he said 3 days. What's everybody else's bets? We're looking for over-unders on how long Rocco's going to take a break. It's also going on tonight.
Easy. The drinking game's going to have you in the ICU.
Sorry.
Well, he's a nice guy.
Just warming up. I thought somebody said Christie.
He said it in the mirror 3 times, hoping a campaign would appear.
Delicious. I didn't think I liked half the book.
What up, Ghost of Shadows?
What did you think that it's really going to be vivid tonight, right?
I really do. I think it's going to be a big buzz after this. Everybody's going to be talking about my. I sent the guy money. I don't do that.
You sent Donald Trump money? Or Vivek?
Not a long time no see. We were asking about you the other day.
Sent Trump money too. Now I think about it.
Both
Actually, I sent Asa Hutchinson about $50 too.
to drop out of the race.
And who else? Tim Scott. I sent him $1.50. Well, no, I sent $25 to. But I get to go. He's the most articulate, elegant. Like you said, he's balanced. He's walking that fine line,
Right.
Kind of Trumpy in his.
In his approach, and people used to like that about Ron DeSantis. When we talked about Ron DeSantis before he declared for president,
By the way, just to be clear, I like Ron DeSantis. I like Donald Trump. I like Vivek. I think he maybe lacks some foreign policy experience. I would vote for any of these people against Biden, with the exception of Chris Christie. I would write.
Yeah, it was actually really good. Nada, we were like, we love your take on some of the political stuff we talk about, and just really down to earth take. That's why we were like, oh man, haven't seen Nada in a while. Hopefully we get to see her again. It was definitely positive stuff.
In Nick DiPaolo.
I got a vote by
Joe
the presidential election committee.
Who would be ahead in the polls? I guarantee you the average would have them behind Biden. And it may not be true, but it's not by anywhere near the margins of the last election. It's the best margin that you've seen at this point in time in a campaign in any of Donald Trump's.
Yeah, and it's going to fluctuate a lot based on what's going on in the world, right? So if there seems to be economic progress, which I don't know where they would get that from, but right now, Bidenomics is the term. Yeah. Should be Biden crime family was the term that everybody was throwing around up there. Like, this is going to sway people back and forth for, but it's still very, very early. Once we get into March and April and May, like, obviously, you're going to start to see things shake out.
Do you know where those pictures came from, Lil Me? You know who fucking sent those to Michael? Michael didn't make pictures. he was probably saying and doing stuff, but he can probably come on and join you and defend himself. I don't need to. He knows what happened just as well as I do.
considerably by then. So I agree. My main point with Donald Trump was if he can win, I'm voting for him because he's got 4 years and nothing to lose. And day one, he walks into that office and knows what to do. Ron DeSantis, as governor, been fantastic. I've liked a lot of what he's done, but day one, he walks in and he's trying to find out where the pencils are. He's just not, anybody walking in brand new is going to have a little bit of okay, how do I do this?
It'll be 6 months learning curve.
Scores to settle. I don't want this to turn into like political tit for tat. I don't want to go after and prosecute opponents just because they prosecuted us. I want to set things straight. Though I don't, because it ends up in a genocide. We don't want that.
We're all the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, surprisingly, I don't actually have that source, though. I'm wondering if it was this troll that follows around people in our community. He goes by Servap or Robert Sampson. Nobody really knows who he is. I think he was the one that was deep diving and trying to take Rocco's side. But he's one of those, he's like an enigma. Everybody has no idea what he is, who he is. He never live streams. It's a really weird one. I think that's where he got, I think that's where the pictures originally came from, but I could be wrong. Did I miss not nobody? Oh, the little Tyler. Sorry.
I mean, we're more prepared. We are the that does have most of the guns, and so if it ever does come to it, we'll be fine. I just want him to go in and go, you know what, FBI?
I know Ty. I know
put an
T-Rex.
under construction sign on you for just a little while, right? And DOJ.
That's for the old school watchers.
Clean out there as well. I think he walks in and does that. I don't think Ron DeSantis does.
Yeah, I think you'd be right. What about Vivek?
The flying V is hilarious. I don't think foreign policy, in this case, I don't think his foreign policy issues are bad. Donald Trump didn't have a lot of foreign policy awareness at the time. He had business interaction.
But the Taiwan-China thing has evolved since then. It's getting ugly. Yeah, I made a nice statement today about something about wiping off. He was going to arm them.
Yeah, I miss T-Rex too. Hopefully one day he'll. What if he just like grew up and he doesn't wear costumes anymore and doesn't go on YouTube? Like it was so. I feel like it was so long ago to be a totally different person now. Not even be able to do the same gimmick anymore.
He was going to arm out. I want you to believe these are crazy conspiracy theorists. Also, crazy conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, who was right about more rollbacks and masks.
He should be out there in the debates tonight.
I know.
That's another one. How many of you guys think? How many think we're gonna start masking up again as a country? Because I'm kind of curious. I don't even think they'll get 20% of the public to actually mask up from now on. After what happened recently, I do not see it happening again.
Boy, would I pay more.
Or even a moderator.
Yeah, moderator. Yeah, something weird. And so these are the 7+1 reasons that Donald Trump is actually not going to be at the debate tonight. The reasons he gave officially on the record. Number 7, he's golfing poorly. That's still having fewer strokes than Mitch McConnell. That's one reasons that Donald Trump will not be at the debate tonight. You know what, Nick? Why don't you take a crack here at number 6?
He's grabbing Melania by the pussy.
We have to sit down.
Yeah.
Take some time, I think you're doing it right. Number 5 reasons that actually, you know what, you can do this one, Joe, that Donald Trump will not be here at the debate tonight.
He would, but Christie ate his debate prep notes.
Oh, Christie.
Yeah. You don't dip them in gravy, though. That's
no potential sustenance unturned. Number 4, Donald Trump would be there, but he has a date to play pickleball with Stormy Daniels, which, wow, I don't know what pickleball is exactly. I assume he'd be throwing a pickle down a hallway.
No, I don't.
Wait. Reasons that Donald Trump, again, that he officially gave our production managers here, who done a fantastic job. Number 3, he would, but he has a private lesson with Dr. Ben Carson, quote, how to keep his pimp hand strong. You have to brush up on that.
Yeah.
I'm
black. I don't even know what that means.
Well, you know, I was raised in a generation of enter the Wu-Tang. Number 2, Nick, I think this one's up for him.
He'll be
What's the store frontier?
Georgia tonight looking for those 11,000 votes.
Oh, there you go.
That's the Bud Light warehouse.
They almost keep it YouTube appropriate for me. I don't even have to censor anything.
right?
Yeah, someone could bring it up. Kid it off.
Did somebody set him up?
Yeah, no, the paparazzi. And he was just drinking Bud Light.
Set himself up.
There's no reason.
Oh, come on. It's almost like I'm taking it back.
I know. How? Just have some courage here to your convictions.
Oh, that really hurts me.
It
He needed to get drunk. Do you know what he was listening to? It was bad music, okay?
Well, you said if any band, dead or alive, you could see.
You want to get the Invisimask tea?
That's
All right.
not true at all. What are you talking about?
Can you guys hear me over phone? Or do I have to like pause it every time? Or let me know how my mic's coming in.
Yeah.
You are one
That's I want to believe.
some lesbian.
You're like that tween who still believes in Santa, but no, but it's not really
But
true.
we were keeping an eye on the Twitter, the thing that used to be called Twitter to make sure. So just so you guys know,
You've been asked.
comes on, we will.
7+1 reasons that Donald Trump has not made the stream tonight. Number one, he's sick. His best friend's sister's boyfriend's brother's girlfriend heard from this guy who knows this dude's going with the girl who saw Trump pass out at 31 Flavors last night. I guess it's pretty serious. And the +1 reason that Donald Trump will not be at the debate tonight, grand jury duty. That's been this week, 7+1.
Grand jury duty. You forgot the one in the chamber.
Gerald, brief us really quickly.
All right, so Donald Trump. So it looks like I have no idea. So it looks like they up.
I haven't taken mine off.
Tim, why don't you go ahead and see if we can bring that up
I did.
really quickly here? They're smiling. That's great.
Thanks for joining us. Thank you. Why are you at the Fox News debate tonight for walking? Well, a lot of people have been asking me that. And many people said you shouldn't do it, but you see.
You always said other people, right? Other people.
Leading by 50 and 60 points.
40.
And some of them were at 1 and 0, and 2. For an hour or 2 hours, whatever it's going to be. And, get harassed by people that shouldn't even be running for president. Should I be doing that? And a network that isn't particularly friendly to.
Oh, gotcha.
Live, it was an upload.
Yeah.
So they're just doing it as an upload.
As an upload.
So we've got our team going through to get clips of.
And by the way, I can fact check that as true, by the way. Just to be clear, Fox News has been anti-Trump for a significant period of time. And now they're kind of turning on DeSantis a little bit. But they definitely have been actively campaigning against Trump, which usually just be honest about it.
Yep.
Just be honest about it.
Honest about
Can I
it.
ask you why? Probably they think the Murdoch sons
They're
are
very establishment. I remember when I worked at I was at Fox News for 4.5 years, and Romney was their guy.
When is there no money in Trump?
If
Is it the bottom line? The bottom line.
if I get
the
taken
bottom
off
line
of,
is news on TV.
YouTube, I'll still be going on Twitter and Twitch at the same time.
Fox News has had a sort of stranglehold on the market for a long time, so they think they can get away with it. Yeah, but let's continue listening to Donald Trump.
I did that. Gratefully you did. It's interesting though, because you spent a lot of your career in television. Yeah. I think you would stop showing television.
True.
But you don't feel the need now running for president to do television, obviously. Do you think television is declining? Well, according to a poll
That's a-
I saw, it just came out of where it's.
So they just say, according to Nielsen, absolutely.
Nichols has just lost credibility. MSNBC, or as they say, MSDNC, is so good.
I want to go on. I don't want to go on Rumble. I'm not.
They do,
I don't know.
what they say.
I'm still nervous about it.
As I said.
I've been thinking about switching over to Cake and Rumble, but I haven't fully
Other
committed.
people say they say you came up with the best terms.
By the way, the drinking game rules do not apply to this interview.
Yeah, I was going to say, by the way, it's drinks for it at this point. Yes,
Yeah, what else? Go on.
You have CNN, who's absolutely doing no ratings at all. I mean, they're
Let me
dead,
smell your drink.
but they're doing none. because-
You got to check out Aaron Moriarty on Rumble. Mud Rabbit, definitely share his link if you got it.
I think it's like spice rum. It smells like perfume.
I will say,
Like you're drinking Egyptian musk.
good Lord.
That's a black beans and cologne.
Yeah, aftershave.
No, you put on it. It was a terrible move getting rid of you. You were number one on television, and all of a sudden we're doing this interview, but we'll get bigger ratings using this forum that you're using than probably the debate.
Well, again, it's not really fair apples to apples to upload. And again, impressions are not the same as views, but I guarantee you that you will have more views. But if you see like 100 million with Tucker or something like that, it's not the same as live viewers.
Yeah.
So sometimes they'll pull that trick. But it is true that cable news is dying.
It is dying, and this is we talked about that up there. This is one of the first events where you're seeing them die. Rumble and places like that are going to take them out.
Yeah.
Put the nail in the coffin, boys.
And to be clear, by the way, about Fox, he's obviously running the debate that's along with Martha McCallum, and he did say that January 6th, the committee hearing made Donald Trump look horrific. Apparently, there have been a lot of reports that there's a soft ban on Donald Trump at Fox News.
Yeah, we'll get it.
They were really going hard on him because they were being sued by Dominion. They were all in on DeSantis, but now that he's not doing so well, they're sort of backing off a little bit. So there is a very strong bias at Fox News. I saw when I was there for Mitt Romney as well, which was just, in my opinion, quite dumb.
Well,
And he was the guy.
they're not doing that well because also Tucker's not big.
Yeah, well, that's a big component.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to try to put somebody else in that slot, obviously, and see if they can like move people around. But it's dying media. Like
I know
people
they're looking at
watching,
Willie Nelson.
they're watching our show. They're watching this right now. They'll be watching the stream on Apple. Like that is taking over media. So here, I don't want to talk over Trump too
Oh,
much.
here we go. It is now the is this live?
That's live, yeah.
All right. Well, let's switch from Tucker to
Yeah,
the
we're up
debates right now. Coming in from Fox News. This is being live from Rumble. Bring up the volume.
Here, there is one battleground that may be harder to win than ever.
Can
Wisconsin,
you turn up a little bit? That we can't hear that.
a state known for its beer and cheese, gridiron and grit, and also its razors in elections. In 2016, Republicans narrowly flipped the Badger State red for the first time since Ronald
Yeah,
Reagan.
who did that, by the way?
Back to blue.
It's not razor thin, Wisconsin. Wisconsin was, in fact, a blue state
Yeah.
until Donald Trump flipped it. I lived it that night.
I think when it's the second time around. Just saying.
In the suburbs of Milwaukee,
Wisconsin's a lot more
deeper than ever.
leftist than it has ever
It was
been, though.
just the beginning.
And that wasn't just because of recent politics.
The U.S. Supreme Court struck down Roe
I think
versus Wade,
it's because of the people that are coming out and voting.
abortion up to the states. In Wisconsin, a nearly total ban.
While they do the intros, do you want to obviously the opening statements? Cool. We'll be back there. But do you want to go back to Trump for a minute while they're
Yeah, let's go back to Donald Trump. I think there's perfume in my beer.
Jeez.
Does that not smell like
Bring
perfume?
up Trump. It's the new PA.
Well, you drink one of those fruity,
Investigation of the election fraud either. Okay, he said he did, and he pretended he did, but he didn't. McSwain, the U.S. attorney in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, said Barr just wouldn't let him do it. It was crazy. Barr became so petrified, so frightened of being impeached. We're going to impeach him. I don't know if you remember it.
Yeah.
It's not a big moment in history. They said, we're going to impeach. You know, they play a much rougher game than that. The lunatics. And they're going to impeach Bill Barr, and he was petrified. Now, how do you not get impeached? Don't do any of this stuff. But he didn't do the job there.
So we're going to go back to those highlights. Let's go right now. They are introducing the debates. We have Brett Baer and Martha McCallum. Now, is that Burgum? I can't see. Oh, there's Mike Pence.
Way down on one end.
He's a dick.
There's Bergam.
Reagan's on the.
Until he's playing basketball, does
The
it?
guy looks like
Why does everybody
he's a
hate Mike
basketball
Pence?
player.
Is Mike Pence really that bad?
I tell you what, the Brett Baer will never go bald. He has a hairline like Curious George.
choice for president.
Or somebody tell me why Mike Pence is less valid than Ted Cruz.
Except the
I tell you what, the Brett Baer will never go bald. He has a hairline like Curious George.
Republican choice for president will accept the party's nomination next summer. The
Can you bring it up there so that he can't hear
decision by the order they sit in the polls.
Oh, so
The
that's
highest
feedback,
polling
you know.
candidates in the middle, standing center stage. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
It's the same type of audience. This guy smiles off-putting.
It's my primary care position.
Fair.
Jimmy Neutron. He looks good tonight.
Oh, I think it's a basket. Mr. Ed's teeth. Asa Hutchinson.
It's quiet.
I hate him. He looks a little bit like a skinnier Muppet like Scorsese.
That's right. Tonight, we'll ask the questions, and then candidates get one.
All right, like I said, it's just so you know, for the Trump thing, you're not missing anything. Our team is actually going through right now and pulling some of the best moments
Yeah,
from
we're
it.
pulling all the moments
As we
from
get
Donald
those,
Trump.
we'll pull them in. You don't have to go anywhere to see all of it. We will make sure you see.
Yes. We'll make sure you see that and cover this live.
So tonight is candidates have
Again, you can use the hashtag Credit GOP debate. Or
Good answer, Nada. I wonder how it wasn't possible, but yet they had to change the law after it happened just to secure it better.
that promo code to get $10 off Mug Club right now, as long as this is live. Let's hear the stupid question.
President, at a time when the likely Democrat nominee, President Joe Biden, is working to convince the country that with Bidenomics, things are looking up.
Go straight to light.
Bidenomics. I'm not sure the minute was totally complimentary way at the time. But guess what? It's working.
Wow. What?
Is it?
The American Rescue Plan is what, 1.9 trillion. The Inflation Reduction Act, 500 billion. The Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, 1.2 trillion. Chips and Science Act, $78 billion. And we've had the worst inflation since, actually surpassing Jimmy Carter. This is an easy layup. I hope they get into specifics. Let's go to the guy in the Michael Jordan hat.
A lot of people's out here homeless because they can't buy food.
We explained it's tough when you got a mortgage rate of 78% versus 2 to 3. It's just you can't afford a house anymore.
This inflation is ridiculous. It's killing us all.
That's not your biggest problem.
We sit here tonight. The number 1 song on the Billboard chart is called
Bring it up a
Rich
little bit,
Men North of Richmond.
This is a weird way to lead today.
His lyrics speak of alienation,
As Tupac once said in his album, All Eyes on Me,
of government,
it's your floor.
and of this country. Washington, D.C. is about 100 miles north of Richmond.
Sorry, I'm pulling that just because I don't know why they're singing a song in the debate and asking these people questions if it has anything to do with this song. Like, you guys wonder why we don't get to talk about enough fucking politics at a debate. But right now you got a singer basically presenting his question, I guess.
What do you think it means?
Oh,
Our country is in decline. This decline is not inevitable, it's a choice.
That's so rich, it almost
brought
seems
back to his basement and reverse American decline.
is it a planned applause? Because he hasn't said anything good yet.
Understanding we must reverse Bidenomics so that middle-class families have a chance to succeed again. We cannot succeed as a country if you are working hard and you can't afford groceries, a car, or a new home, while Hunter Biden can make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Not Joe Biden, Hunter Biden.
It's wrong.
My drink.
Right?
Also cannot succeed when the Congress spends trillions and trillions of dollars. Those rich men north of Richmond have put us in this situation. And finally, we need to lower your gas prices. We're going to open up all energy production. We will be energy dominant again in this country.
So you know someone said come out forcefully. You know, come out forcefully. And so
Well,
I
he
think
was in the military, so he's a leader. He's a born leader.
he confused forceful for loud.
Yeah, that's true. Not a new statement.
Christine, do you agree with Governor DeSantis just said there? And why would you be better on
What Christie next?
than him?
Well,
predominantly with what Governor DeSantis just laid out. I think that if you asked every one of us up here, that we would agree predominantly with what he just laid out. Here's the difference. The difference is that we're going to have to work and make sure that we sell these ideas and we be able to put ourselves.
We gotta make
in a
money.
position where we get a majority of the vote.
Like you sold 2-lane traffic on your bridge.
And the Senate in the 24, but also by having someone who's had the experience of doing it. Now, I was elected as a conservative
You mean President Trump?
in a blue state.
No, let's correct that phrase. You were elected as a Republican. Let's not say conservative Republican.
in a blue state, which means you're not a Republican.
Yeah. It's a state where you can't even pump your own gas.
Jesus, New Jersey brought them around to our point of view. We cut taxes in New Jersey.
Try cutting cars.
Well, it's roads in New Jersey.
We're confronted with bad democratic ideas. We stood and stopped them. And when there were good ideas, we brought people together to make progress going forward. Truth and accountability are the things we need to do to fight waste. And I'd say the last thing is this, Brett. We cannot sit by any longer and allow the kind of spending that's going on in Washington, because every dollar they spend is a dollar that these people are not allowed to spend on their children.
Oh, you're fine.
Grandchildren.
No
It's
worries.
robbing our country, and it's wrong.
Well, Governor, let me just follow up very quickly. New
It was
Jersey,
very tepid.
you were governor, had the second lowest credit rating in the nation after Illinois. And it was
Well, it's not his fault. I mean,
The highest behind.
yes.
And that's what happens when you inherit a blue state. that has done that. But when you look at what we did on debt, Brett, in that state, we cut debt in that state, debt that had been left to us by
We cut the crust off your sandwiches.
predecessors of mine who ran that debt.
I think we're going to get him for the post debate.
That's tomatoes and get that up there.
Was to cut the unemployment rate in half. It was over 10% when I became governor in 2010. What we also did was cut pension payments to public employees to make sure that taxpayers were not being
So apparently now that worked, because you're still second to last, Tubby.
killing the taxpayers.
How's that for a follow-up?
But when it comes to being second to last, we're tops.
Yeah, that's it.
After welfare program.
Pizza, pizza.
As a senator, now President Biden argued for freezing federal spending. This is back in the
That's a nice
80s.
guy.
Why are you wearing a photo negative with a Thriller jacket?
He does not talk about that anymore. You've been a senator, though, for 10 years. So what have you done to rein in?
Please lead your answer with,
Question. In the last several years, I've had an opportunity to vote against spending package after spending package after spending package. What we also need to understand is that Joe Biden's Bidenomics has led to the loss of $10,000 of spending power for the average family. When you see 16% inflation, your gas is up 40%, your food is
I actually have the numbers right here on the Bidenomics as far as how much more you're spending. Which page is Bidenomics? I have it in my prep. I always do this.
11. 11 at the very back. Second
All right,
last
keep
page.
the volume there up there, Tim.
Let me just say this. Chris Christie had the lowest approval rating ever for a New Jersey governor at 15%.
I'm sure that's going to come
We
up.
can talk about
Well, that's because of the Democrats, as
Oh,
he would tell you.
yes.
So you were spending $202 more in July, by the way, in just 1 year than you would have to buy goods or services 1 year ago. $709 more than 2 years ago. It has crippled Americans, the inflation. Just so you know, that's one thing. It's not a talking point, but everyone has that arrow in their quiver. Let's go back to
That's good
Mr. Scott.
for the American people.
Okay, but just to follow up, you did, during the Trump administration, you approved
Drink.
4.1 trillion, 1.7 trillion over the course of that administration. That's a lot of money.
There's no doubt that during the
No doubt.
COVID,
Right.
when we were dealing with the COVID
Makes
virus, we spent more money. But here's what happened at the end of our time in the majority. We had low unemployment, record low unemployment, 3.5% for the majority of the population, 70%, 70-year low for women. African Americans, Hispanics, and Asians had an all-time low. But our
Well,
inflation
where the white women at?
at 2% under Joe Biden. We've seen the exact opposite. We've seen inflation explode, which led to 12 Federal Reserve increases that's devastating home buyers today.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you're listening to, if I may, hold on one second.
Was there a buzzer?
So I don't know if I get.
That was that.
With you a second. Mr. Ramaswamy.
Oh, you shut down.
Can I talk?
He rolled up a newspaper and spanked Mike Pence's dog in front of the stream.
Say, Ken, as a moderator,
Moderator, sir.
I can't believe
Yeah, that's a
we're
moderator cutoff. Drink.
38 years old.
Fair
You
enough.
said that
Drink.
you only did two presidential elections before this moment, this political race.
So first, let me just address a question that is on everybody's mind at home tonight. Jeff, my hair is real. Who the heck is this skinny guy with a funny last name, and what the heck is he doing in the middle of this debate stage? I'll tell you, I'm not a
I
politician.
think people thought wise tech support here.
I'm an entrepreneur. My parents came to this country with no money 40 years ago. I have gone
I
on
talked to him on the phone last night, trying to get come out of a mouse pad.
I did it while marrying my wife, raising our two sons, following my faith in God.
I didn't hear it, sorry.
That is the American dream.
Good.
And I am genuinely worried that that American dream will not exist for our two sons and their
He's
generation.
answering the question, though. That's the issue. This is kind of like an opening speech, which is fine.
Because for a long
He needs to do that, but then he needs to pivot into answering the question.
time, we've been running from something. Now is our moment to start running to something, to our vision of
He's the guy.
the keys to the people.
Got a lot of people
We
there.
hand it over to a new generation to actually
Wow.
fix the problem. That's why I'm at this race, and we're just getting warmed up.
All right. All right.
To turn around this economy that we've heard all of these voters.
Pence is sitting
talking
here
about
just
tonight.
like
And
ripping to
Mr.
go in.
Ramaswamy, who is a successful entrepreneur, nationally right now, he's beating you in the polls. Well, I don't care about polls. What I care about the fact is that no one is telling the American
He did
people
college.
the truth. The truth is that Biden didn't do this to us. Our Republicans did this to us too. When they passed $2.2 trillion COVID stimulus.
That's a valid point. I don't like it.
That's with 80 million people on Medicaid, 42 million people on food stamps. No one has told you how to fix it. I'll tell you how to fix it. They need to stop the spending. They need to stop the borrowing. They need to eliminate the earmarks that the Republicans brought back in. And they need to make sure they understand these are taxpayer dollars.
Probably a lot.
Speaking of earmarks, I understand your spin, right, Haley?
You have Ron DeSantis, you got Jim Scott, you've got Mike
I like the
Pence.
idea
They
of
all voted to raise.
Female president with the black strip as first name.
I bet less than 40% of voters will watch it,
The 2024 budget.
and that's a small number already. Just number of voters.
$7.4 billion in earmarks. Democrats asked for $2.8 billion. So you tell me who are the big spenders. I think it's time for an accountant in the White House.
Vice President Pence.
All right.
Just Mike Pence, speaking of boring.
If the Democrats are different, they would never.
Mike Pence cannot have a good performance tonight. I'm calling it right now. And again, you can send in your predictions. It's not possible for him. He's awful.
If they did, it wouldn't matter.
No.
But as vice president, your administration spent more than any prior, $7.8 trillion added to the national debt, $3.5 trillion of that before COVID.
I'm proud of
Does
this.
that mean that you're part of the spending?
That does mean half.
Well,
Was it
first
1
off,
year?
thanks for the
That's
question.
a pretty big number.
For letting me respond. Yes, your question, Mike. Can you find a dipstick record?
Mutter, Ivan, don't be rude. We sent them $700 each. They might even, no, they probably can't even buy a refrigerator with that. But, you know, to make up for the whole house.
This guy appointed three conservative presidents in a movie.
Yeah.
That gave the American
Yeah.
people
He's a
walking
the
narrative.
president is telling.
Martha, you asked earlier who's the most best prepared.
Can't say that. Most best.
And I say, with all due respect to all of my friends, to Donald Trump, and even to one that's probably looking on. I think unquestionably I am the best prepared, the most tested,
Sorry, Vice, what'd you say?
qualified, and proven conservative in this race. You're a trainer leader in the Congress of the United States. I led Indiana where we balanced budgets and when I
But
was
he certainly would make a great Judas.
in the United States. We spent
People
on these-
flooding to Indiana, Mike, to live
I
there.
know, right?
It's scariest, to be clear. I know there's two Judas. Yes, two. Imagine died. Yeah, you will.
in 100 years. All that being said, I was the first person in this race to say that we've got to deal with the long-term national debt issues. You got people.
Look at what look at his resume. Is I have more experience because I was tapped. No one actually voted for me.
That's right.
And he goes, I was the first to. You were the first Republican to say that we need to lower spending, dummy. There's nothing you need. This is the thing with Mike Pence. He will say whatever he thinks
Patrick
is necessary. He is
Lancaster on YouTube,
It's
UK is getting
personified. I
creamed.
don't think
Wow.
I've ever. Is it just me?
He doesn't have an original thought.
No.
He just doesn't.
When people talk about politicians who are rinse, recycle, repeat, they're specifically
That's
referring to Mike Pence. He's the guy.
I see 1980 when I
They're trying to jump in. Let's see.
I'm gonna get back first.
We'll get to both.
Yeah, this isn't that complicated, guys. Unlock American energy. Drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear.
I love he said burn coal. I love it.
No longer paying them more to stay at home. Open the U.S. Fed, stabilize the U.S. dollar.
He's from the town where October Sky was based on.
The war that I will declare as U.S. president will be the war on the federal administrative state that is the source of those toxic regulations, acting like a blanket on the economy. So I'm not sure I exactly understood Mike Pence's comment, but I'll let you all parse that out. For me, it's pretty simple.
Good way to call
Okay,
it.
okay. Oh, okay.
With focus, and I'll deliver on it.
You know what
I wouldn't assume that they were going to win. The money doesn't matter. It just prolongs it.
You know, I sometimes struggle with the reading.
I was a House conservative leader before it was cool.
It's still not supposed to.
The last time we actually reduced
Somebody's
the
burning
national debt in the
He's also a
United States.
salt and pepper cover band before it was cool.
I balanced budgets and cut taxes when I was governor. I mean, look, Joe in this country at home and abroad. Now is not the time for on-the-job training. We don't need to bring in.
There's his buzzword. He really felt one.
On the job.
You're black, Mike.
Well, what about take on-the-job training over on-the-job failing, Mike? There's no question mark with you. It's a guarantee.
He talks like he was the president.
I know. It's
All right,
quite DeSantis.
How this federal government handed COVID-19 by locking down this economy.
Wow.
We had a lockdown. We kept our state free and open.
That's a very strong point, though, for Ron DeSantis. He should put to him being one of the I think really two places, if I'm not mistaken, that did it right. As far as right away unknown, he was the first state to open back up, repeal lockdowns. This is a strong.
There's only one man that smokes stogies in the war room. It's not.
You should lean into that. Let's see.
What up, Dickie?
Actually, Ramaswamy's pointing too much. That's too much of the point.
Everybody's gotten their memorized, pre-prepared slogans out of the way. We can actually have a real discussion now.
Yes.
Not really, Mike. We're just gonna have some fun tonight. And the reality is, you have a bunch of people, professional politicians, super PAC puppets, following slogans handed over to the last week. The real choice we face in this primary is this. Do you want a super PAC puppet, or do you want a patriot who speaks the truth? Do you want incremental reform, which is what you're hearing about, or do you want revolution?
Okay.
I understand that. Do you want a revolution? American revolution. We're going to take
control back here.
We need everyone to have a moment on the
Everybody
economy.
just calm down. Take it easy.
Talking here, what?
Asa Hudson, keep silent. Thank you.
Bergham's just saying, I'm just glad to be here.
I can barely stand. I'm on pain, man.
This is Scorsese.
There he is.
Oh yeah, no worries.
on the stage with all these folks.
I'm just happy to be here, Bob.
Wishing me well. I think I took it a little too literally when they said go to Milwaukee and break a leg.
Did you take a day off or what?
To get that one, huh?
What were you doing Monday?
Cross him up now, please.
We can't just talk about the numbers. Last night, economy, energy, and national security are all tied together. We, of course, we're paying too much for our energy in our state, right, in our country right now. But part of the reason why is because the Biden policies are
His only chance would have been to come out with all like Ramaswamy did today with double barrel, and instead he's coming out exactly showing us why he shouldn't be here.
Are they all dressed the same, or am I high? What the
Pretty much. Blue suit.
both. Hi, buying batteries from China. We're just trading OPEC for Sinopec, and then belatedly, the Biden administration says no. We're going to put sanctions on Russia.
Oh, don't worry, it's going around.
Scorsese and Henry Winkler had a baby. Bring up those pictures. That's spot on.
Country, you buy a solar
like an Italian
being
Beyonder?
produced in a plant in China powered by coal, where it's being powered by oil and gas at 20% off, and every farmer in this country would like to buy diesel at 20% off, just like
So this guy said, "I'm going to be the energy candidate."
That's right.
That's very clear. That's what he said.
I was just thinking he has that.
All the greats have their calling cards, and so do the mediocres.
Oh, Asa.
be here today.
I forgot you were there.
Let me just tell you,
This guy,
I'm
nobody
a
likes.
pro-life governor from a conservative state that had a conservative record in which I lowered taxes
Yeah,
and
he's
I
still a
as
rhino.
governor. I created a $2 billion surplus that I passed over to my successor, and I made sure that we shrunk the size of government.
In Arkansas,
We
you
have
have putting a tax on
14% fewer state employees in Arkansas after
And
I
flipper
left
babies.
government than when I took over as governor 8 years ago. I tell that because that's what we need in Washington, D.C. We need somebody who can actually constrain the growth of the federal government, that can actually reduce the size. And I pledged.
I'm sorry, but you have to be really clear about something. This is not a race about just reducing size and spending of government. Yes, of course, that should be a given, and I get it that Republicans have spent far too much. That is not what is going to energize the American public. You need to make this about immigration and about corruption in the government and the media. You need to make it about the elites, just like Ramaswamy did right now. Donald Trump could have said that right. It's very simple. Do you want? He sounds like Donald Trump. He's tearing a page from his book because he understands that is what mobilizes people, not just talking about deficits. Yes, that does matter, but that's not what you lead with. If you need to get ahead and get American people, the American public, to actually start paying attention to you.
And especially since you've been in Congress for the last 20 years.
Exactly.
The problem.
Exactly.
Why is it? Why is
why
spending out of
did you do
control?
anything?
What have you done?
Well, just give us the control.
Well, let me hear the Brent Bear. What's his question?
After the deadliest U.S. wildfire in
I'll cover you.
Yeah, I had to take a break here in the weather too.
House officials
It's a lot.
said that climate change amplified the cost of human error.
A tropical storm hit California for the first time in 84 years. The ocean hit.
Wait, are you guys? Is Fox News actually trying to parrot the idea that it's climate change? It sounds like that a little bit. Let me see. Let me see how little we should be able to trust them.
Dr. Diaz from Young America's Foundation has a question for you.
polls consistently show that young people's number one issue is climate change. How will you, as both president of the United States and leader of the party, calm their fears?
I'm really curious to see the answer. Please swat it out of hand.
So
Point out that the warning didn't work, that the water didn't work, that all of their fail-safes didn't work, and that it was the guy who was the coroner from Vegas, the Vegas shooting for crying out loud. Please clarify this.
Children, let's have the debate. I mean, I'm happy to take.
Does your thyroid also control some of those things? Or am I confused about that? I was just curious.
You get to start.
Let me just say to Alexander this. First of all, one of the reasons our country's decline is because of the way the corporate media treats Republicans versus Democrats. Biden was on the beach while those people were suffering. He was asked about it. He said, no comment. Are you kidding me? As somebody that's handled disasters in Florida, you got to be activated. You got to be there. You got to be present. You got to be helping people who are doing this. Answer the question. Here's the deal.
Can you answer the question about climate change? Because we want to guide this.
He's already
The moderator.
Let's be honest.
Interrupted.
Yeah, interrupted. Stage was it bought and paid for? So I can say this. Climate change is
You just said it's a hoax.
That's the sunlight moment.
The agenda is the wet blanket on our economy. And so the reality is people are buying a bad climate change policy.
Trump has mentioned sunlight moment. Finish your drink. Mention Democrat other than
God damn. Whole drink? Come on. David, you need to slow down over this.
Sounds like ChatGPT.
Oh, you're still not a funny meme you read on 4chan.
The last person in one of these debates, Brett, who stood in the middle of the stage and said, "What's a skinny guy with an odd last name doing up here?" Obama was Barack Obama, and I'm afraid we're dealing with the same type of amateur.
Compare him to Barack Obama. Chris Christie's coming out swinging.
Is it just me?
Like he has a horse.
If you're watching this on YouTube, you're watching. I never think that
All right, bro.
he's a tough
Don't
talker.
drink this again when I come.
Fine. Yes, he's
He's
catty. He was picked on as fat as a kid.
Jacob, I also have hyperthyroidism. Okay.
It's a big girl with
Get sand in the police face, Charles. Listen.
Clean air, clean water. We want to see that taken care of. But there's a right way to do it. And the right way to do it is, first of all,
Stuff like
yes,
burning
is
that
climate
jacket.
change real? Yes, it is. But if you want to really change the environment, then we need to start telling China and India.
Oh boy. Oh wow.
Oh, what just happened? Is that coming?
buffering?
Good job, Rumble.
And these green subsidies that Biden has put in, all he's done is help China. Because he doesn't understand all these electric vehicles that he's done. What that
Can
does.
someone bring up
What up,
the,
Woody?
mission control
How you doing, man?
We should get this in about 15 seconds. Biden just removed, I think, was it 10 or 15 companies from the blacklist from China just today, I believe, or was it yesterday that he did it?
The last day or two.
Yeah, within the last day or two.
Because we're sending an envoy over there right now. Anticipation.
I don't have to keep appearances up.
In China, you've got to stop polluting, and that's when we'll start to deal with
Spend
it.
much for China, we'll get right on that.
Are you bought and paid for? Are you bought? Absolutely not. I mean, here's what the American people deserve: is a debate about the issues that affect their lives. Going back and forth and being childish is not helpful to the American people to decide on the next time. There you go. A single parent household mired in poverty. I know you got just the American dream real for kids who are devastated by poverty, devastated by the challenges of life. I came to the conclusion that America can do for anyone what she's done for me if we focus on restoring hope, creating opportunities, and protecting America. If we
What are the drinking game rules for an anti-thug life moment? I think Tim Scott has.
Hardly. He's weak.
Yeah. You know what, though? The only person who said no,
Vivek
we're not
just
doing
threw
climate
some
change,
shots.
The only person was Vivek. So good for him.
Yeah.
Maybe he's saying what people want to hear, but at least he's willing to speak out. Everyone else said, we shouldn't be childish. China and India. What are you going to do about that, Nikki?
Yeah.
Because you're an ambassador to the UN, who, by the way, they ignored.
Yeah.
All right, so.
He was having a Larry Elder moment.
has cut our carbon footprint in half in the last 25 years. To places where they are continuing to increase, Africa, 950.
The thumb point.
India over $1 billion. China over $1 billion. Why do we put ourselves at a disadvantage? Devastating our own economy. Let's bring our jobs home.
Look, here's what you do. Finish the line of questioning. Why would we put our... Here's what you do. You say, why does the Biden administration want to put us at a disadvantage to these countries that want to see us fail? Places like China, right? These great polluters out there who have no intention of honoring these international agreements whatsoever will cripple the American economy. That's right, because they're not looking out for you. They're not looking out for the American people. They're looking out for international interests because they're bought and paid for. We can talk about Joe Biden's connections with the Chinese government. He's talked about it quite a bit. We can talk about their connections with Ukraine if you want to understand why we've dedicated $135 billion. No, we haven't spent.
Out of the science that's coming out right now.
That's too much. I'll tell you what you say. What they need to say is man-made climate change. Look, maybe there's some debate about that, but about which there can be no debate is Joe Biden can't fix it.
There you go.
Then you expand upon it if you have that time. But the point is, people, and because I get it, you're dirty, so am I a little bit. But guess what? People, you only have a few seconds to punch in and punch out. Yeah. And if you're so busy tripping over yourself and your advisor's talking points to get to something pretty fast, you're never going to connect with the people. I get it. You think Donald Trump's bombastic? Bombastic is better than completely inauthentic. The only people here tonight who have a remote chance have been Vivek and potentially Ron DeSantis, but he also needs to just relax a little.
Bombastic won twice, by the way.
We probably actually, they gave us that. It was actually dozens of companies that were.
Dozens of companies. I thought it was 15.
Yeah, so. But also, we may have some clips from Trump. Tim Toolman, do you have any of those over there?
Trump with Tucker Carlson?
Yeah.
Trump punch.
And then we do have we actually have our on-the-ground correspondent Finnegan, who's actually out there today at the RNC page.
I don't really care about the Finnegan one because he's going to be in the wrong spot.
Because of one side or the other, because hundreds of thousands of people are being killed. Can you imagine you're in an apartment house and rockets are going into that building and blowing it up and knocking it down? And who can? Why should anything? Why should anybody, even whether they're Russian or Ukrainian or whatever they are, it's got to be stopped, and it can be stopped very easily. It would have never started if I were president. It would have never started.
Now I can tell you exactly what the media is going to say. Oh, he equivocated between innocent Ukrainians and evil Russians. They're going to say Donald Trump said Russians just like Ukrainians, which of course is horseshit. He's a guy who's saying we shouldn't have a war. I can tell you exactly what the media is going to do. Come back tomorrow. Tell me if I'm wrong on that clip. Do we have contact for the next clip that we can run? Well, sorry, I just get so angry when I watch something and I know that it's a losing play. Yeah. And this is what hey, you know what the problem is? You want to know what a little bit of the problem is? The fact that these people are all beholden to the same nonprofit donors. Why do you think that GAF gets the first question? Why do you think it was a layup for climate change? I like a lot of people at GAF, just to be clear. I like a lot of people at these nonprofits. But the billions of dollars, ironically,
I think he's right. I think it's going to be definitely, they're going to flip to, he didn't say which side was bad and which side he supported. He's still kicking like a chicken. That's good. He's still going to be labeled as the guy that is not picking sides, and it's going to be, oh, well, clearly he just doesn't want people dying on either side. Yeah, I'm listening to Crowder right now.
Enterprise capitalist move.
Joe Biden is so bad. He's the worst president in the history of our country. I don't think he's going to make it to the gate, but you never know. But he's a corrupt person, so corrupt that I took the name off Hillary. I don't do two people at one time. I took the crooked Hillary and I retired the name. That was a good day for her. I bet she was very happy. And I used it for Joe because it's crooked Joe. But Joe is really.
You don't think he's going to make it to November of 2020?
Well, I think he's worse mentally than he is physically.
I know. That's what Gerald thinks too.
A triathlete.
He's not going to be there.
You guys can comment, especially if you're watching right now on Mug Club. If you're not a member, we'll go to Mug Club exclusively with some interviews from candidates today, liveofclear.com/Mug Club. Everyone here, aside from me, thinks that the nominee for the Democrats will not be Joe Biden. Let me know what you think. Let's go right now. They're asking Nikki Haley a question.
Thank you, Martha. I am unapologetically pro-life, not because the Republican Party tells me to be, but because my husband was adopted and I had trouble having both of my children, so I'm surrounded by blessings. Having said that, we need to stop demonizing this issue. This is talking about the fact that unelected justices didn't need to decide something this personal, because it's personal for every woman and man. Now it's been put in the hands of the people.
I've got to tell
That's
you,
great. When it comes
it
to
really seems like Fox News is trying to set up these people to fail. Asking a leading question about the abortion issue because they see that that's been a losing issue on the state level. People not understanding Heller versus DC and the overturning of the jobs. And sitting right there when they're asking about climate change, it's like I'm watching CNN or MSNBC. I don't know. It's just what I'm seeing right now.
Come on, you didn't think that was staged?
shouldn't have to perform them. Can't we all agree that contraception should be available? And can't we all agree that we are not going to put a woman in jail or give her the death penalty if she gets an abortion?
No one is saying that. No one is saying that. Boom. That's the wolf in sheep's clothing right there. Her using that talking point. Point me to one.
So she first says, I'm not doing this because it's a Republican talking point. And then immediately jumps to the extremes of both sides with the abortion topic.
Governor who's saying that a woman should get a death penalty for having an abortion performed if she is raped. There's not one person saying that. It's like she took that straight out of Salon or Slate or insert your shitty blog here.
What do you say to him and others who say politically that is a tough thing to sell nationally?
You know what, actually, really quickly, let's go live to our on-the-ground correspondent. Actually, he's out there, right? He's gotten some interviews.
Yeah.
Thomas Finnegan, he's down there. Do we have him?
Yes.
I'm not going to do the Thomas Finnegan thing. He's always in the wrong spot for some reason. It's just, I don't know, it's just an ongoing gimmick that they have. It's funny, but I just don't want to steal any. I'm not trying to steal their material. I just want to hear most of their coverage of the debates, as well as the sneak peeks that they're giving for Donald Trump and Tucker Carlson's interview.
I'm sorry about that, Nick.
Yeah.
You're better.
Maybe not. I don't think we should ever expect better from Thomas Finnegan. But you called it. Where is something like that coming from? An article from Salon? Let's see. GOP bill would subject those obtaining abortions to the death penalty.
There you go. Yeah, it's almost like I've done this for a while, and Nikki Haley's a crooked article.
Yes.
All right, let's go back to Ron DeSantis. Hey, Mike Pence is talking. Let's all hurry so we can not care.
Well, look, I'm not new to this cause.
I tell you what you are new to.
After I
not
gave my life to
sucking.
Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, I opened up the book and I read, well, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you.
And by the way, but this is not, the first debate should not be about the abortion issue for these candidates. And the way they framed the question was obviously one trying to get people to slip up. I get that Mike Pence is trying to position himself as a social conservative, which I am through and through. I'm as pro-life as you get. But the line of questioning tonight, do not be fooled. Climate change is the most discussed issue in our generation. And then the next question after that, or two questions later, is the abortion issue that's being misrepresented. This is going to tell you who your friends are when you look at people like Nikki Haley and how they answer. I guarantee you that Mike Pence has a good answer, but this is a no-win situation for these people this early in a campaign. You know what they won't ask? They won't ask a single Democrat to put a limit on abortion. Not one. That'll never happen. Hey, let's say it's not 9 months. When is it? Is it 8? Is it 7? Is it 6? You'll find out really quickly that's a more reasonable policy. I'm just really disappointed that Fox News is doing this, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised.
Nobody's talking about abortion. I read the headlines every day for the last 2 months.
Well, one person
Other
is
than Salon.
Fox News.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm validating you.
No, it's
I haven't heard anybody mention abortion.
I know.
How about
I'm
the
sorry.
illegals?
I was distracted looking for a fly on Mike Pence's hair
yeah.
to see if that.
No, his hair is actually just a bunch of deceased flies.
It's like really?
Oh, he's making
They count.
Anymore that a Democrat president could ban all those state laws. Don't make women feel like they have to decide on this issue when you know we don't have 60 Senate votes in the House.
Here we go. You don't have really? All right. You know, there's never been a male president, so you can't run.
Leadership.
Oh, I
You
said,
can't have those.
Sorry, female president.
to be honest with the American people. All right, let's get Governor Bergman for one minute here.
For anything.
Because,
So
so do you really think you have a shot?
Yes.
overturn.
What are you doing here, stupid?
And the result of that decision was that it went back to the states. So that's where it is right now. So
That's-
as
There it is.
Yeah, it's
What do you
Italian
say
Pennsylvania.
about the states? There's about 5 of them, including New Jersey, I think a few others, that allow abortion up until the time of birth, though. If you were president, you
Should
be
be
able
third
to
grade.
abide that.
What?
First of all, I'm
I'm kidding, folks.
governor of a very pro-life state. And this issue is, of course, very important, but I am on the record and I stand behind that we should not have a federal abortion ban. We should not. And the reason why we shouldn't is very simple.
There is no federal abortion ban, though.
In the Constitution.
There is no federal abortion ban.
No, he's saying that they're basically pushing for it. That's what the argument was with Nikki Haley.
He should have been paying attention, Stephen should have, because he was just saying that they'll never ask people to put a limit on it. And her question was, would you allow people to get abortions up until birth? Like, it was kind of, hey, give us a time frame of where you're cutting it off.
Pence, right, pushing for a federal abortion ban, and he's saying, look, that's a states' rights issue.
Right. He just pulled out a little constitutional
He did.
flask.
Oh, geez.
People, we need
come
to
to
get
drink
back
from this club now.
for the people of this country.
That man owns no upper lip.
We can't have Republicans who fight for 50 years for this great cause and when return it back to the states. And then the next day they turn around and go, no, the feds should do that because the feds are stepping into people's lives. They're stepping into people's businesses over and over.
And as someone who does,
He avoided the whole question, but yeah, no, the question was, would you put limits on it? And he just avoided it because he just wanted to make the statement that he thinks abortion is a right, but or a human right in the Constitution, but he doesn't want to put limits on it.
as, who does view it as a termination of a life, I also understand. This is the middle ground that people talked about. That Republicans need to take. It goes to the states. And I understand people making the argument, yeah, but murder is illegal on a federal level. I understand, but as far as what you can accomplish politically,
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it was one.
Thank you.
It is the most important issue for women and for the unborn child and for our country that we get this right.
Hold on, it's not just for women anymore, boy.
that's true. That's true.
I'm telling you.
And have abortions, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, your prostate won't be the biggest fan of it, but
You don't even have to go to Planned Parenthood. You just play football with your buddies in the backyard. That's a few beers. Get blindsided, and Timmy ends up with it. Anyway, it's great.
Being done in Arkansas and are important for our nation's future.
There are a lot of that up in big town.
we're just having supposed to be touch football, and Bobby ended up with a miscarriage. I don't know how that.
Poor Bobby.
Like California, New York, and Illinois have abortions on.
I liked Tim Scott. He just didn't come to play.
Black people aren't boring. How do we pick a boring black? You're not boring. When do you get from black people? They're interesting people.
Yes.
Where do we find this fucking man?
Nick Carson was already taken.
A little hot for TV, I guess.
Our Creator gave us inalienable rights that include life. That is an issue we must solve. We can't leave it to Illinois. We can't leave it to.
Oh, come on. Yes, you can.
Why don't you start talking like Octavia Spencer?
I know.
Rise?
I know. We can't.
You sounded like Hillary doing a black man.
For 38 weeks, or they for 39.
Go back to the woman shelter, silly.
Because that's what the media needs to be after.
All right, another issue is America.
Nikki Haley got it right. Ask the Dems.
Homelessness crisis.
Where's your limit?
Cities are in decline. People are moving out as
So you're
homelessness,
right.
drugs, crime move in. There are problems accelerated.
As drugs and crime move in, Mr. Scott, you know all about that. I'm just joshing you. Hey, Asa Hutchinson,
Murders
this
in
one's
Los
for you.
Angeles, New York, Chicago, all up 30% between 2019 and 2022.
I love how
Homelessness
they
is
blur the face of the homeless person.
Yeah.
For the homeless.
What is that?
Vice President
What is sign
Pence, a lot of this began in
Sir, if you wouldn't mind showing your ass crack next to the big gulp, don't worry, I'll blue your face.
happening around this country is a result of those COVID lockdowns. And is your administration in part to blame for how we got here?
Well, I think what's important is the Democrats been talking about defunding the police for the last 5 years. And we ought to be funding law enforcement, particularly in our major cities, at unprecedented levels. I mean, it's extraordinary to think about the violence that's claiming innocent lives literally every week in every major city in this country. And yet Democrats and liberal prosecutors in major metropolitan areas continue to work out their fanciful agendas, to do bail reform. What we need is strong. It's bigger than that, Mike. It's a cultural revolution. In Washington, D.C. Honestly, it'll marshal the resources of the states, marshal the resources.
He's like Jiminy Cricket, if I could stomp him.
Opportunity. A lot of people don't know that those
Well, he's talking. Want to bring up some of the Trump with Tucker interview? The next line blind. I have no idea what's coming up.
So I've got plenty of Trump stuff, just kind of feathering it in. So here's him talking about Gavin Newsom.
Oh, wonderful! That should be fun.
Bye, Mike.
Newsom. There.
We're switching. It says Newsom.
3.
It says
2.
Newsom.
Any more 10?
1.
Cutting if we have like
Newsom. Just give us the highlights. Don't cut all of it. Okay,
we
Newsom.
cut everything.
Newsom.
Around the country. Talking about chicken catch a dark. Blame emphasis on easy access to guns. They also blame Republicans for blocking gun control legislation.
Color your hair.
Oh, this may be a layup for Chris Christie to sabotage himself because he's incredibly anti-gun.
And I'm the only person along with Governor Hutchinson up on this stage who's actually running a United States Attorney's Office. I ran the 5th largest office in America in a state where there's significant urban.
The oblong office.
The problem
Did you make it the 5th largest office?
Exactly. More money.
It was a broken
You said there. The West Wing.
These are refusing to do their job and to arrest violent criminals. So what President Christie would do is appoint an attorney general who would instruct.
Why didn't, if I'm not mistaken, why didn't Governor Christie, you guys fact check, bring up for me, please, in Mission Control, why didn't Governor Christie get rid of the waiting period? I believe it was 30 days, and there was a woman who actually had a restraining order out against her ex-husband, I believe, or maybe it was her current fiance, who ended up being killed because she needed a gun immediately. So when people say, why do you need a gun right away? Why can't you have a cooling down period? I don't know. Sometimes people need to purchase a firearm to defend themselves for a specific situation. Governor Christie was probably the most left, if I'm not mistaken, if there's a rating system, probably the worst Republican governor in the history of the Second Amendment. That's why he wants to talk about who he appointed.
Which was mandated by legislation sponsored by his father. And then you have a Justice Department that walks away from those charges. In your case, so that the laws that apply to everybody. In a Christie administration, he would go to jail for 10 years.
What about a president on Swami? What is it?
Going back to
about guns?
So the reality is we have a crime wave in this country and we know how to fix it. The question is, do we actually have the spine to do it? More cops in the streets who are on the streets able to do their jobs without looking over their shoulder for getting sued. And we also have a mental health epidemic in this country. Just over the same period that we have closed mental health institutions, we've seen a spike in violent crime. Do we have the spine to bring them back? I think we should. As president, I will. But it's not just drugging up people in those psychiatric institutions with Zoloft and Seroquel. It's a deeper issue. I think faith-based approaches can play a role. We're in the middle of a national identity crisis. And I say this as a member of my generation. The problem in our country right now, the reason we have that mental health epidemic is that people are so hungry for purpose and meaning at a time when family, faith, patriotism, hard work have all disappeared. What we really need is a tonal reset from the top, saying that this is what it means to be an American. Yes, we will stand for the rule of law. Yes, we will close the southern border where criminals are coming in.
Oh, fit it in there. Good. Talk life moment. First guy to fit in immigration.
We remember who we really are. And that's also how we address that mental health epidemic in the next generation that is directly leading to violent crime.
Can I Governor DeSantis just really quickly? Governor DeSantis.
That was actually pretty good. Vivek's a lot better than I thought he was.
National identity. The American people are the most faith-filled, freedom-loving, idealistic,
Shut up,
hardworking
Pence.
people the world has ever known. We just need government as good as our people. We don't need government here. It's stupid.
Some others, like you may have on the stage, it's Morning in America speech. It is not Morning in America. We live in a dark moment, and we have to confront the fact.
Right. Good. Good. And by the way, if if you go back to Ronald Reagan, everyone acts like Ronald Reagan was just shining city on a hill. No, at the beginning of his campaigns, he talked about where they were in that country. When he smoked Carter, he talked about the dark days of America and then transitioned into a plan. Mike Pence is delusional. That does not resonate with the American public, and certainly not people who will vote for a Republican. Let me hear.
census. How do you stop?
Follow that act. I said
The crime's at a 50-year low in Florida. We're happy with that. No, the statewide is a 50-year low. And so here's the thing.
Brett was too ready.
Yes, this is
Gerald,
the
I noticed
symptom of American decline. Biggest reasons is because you have George Soros funding these radical left-wing district attorneys. They get into office and they say they're not.
We all know that. What are you gonna do?
They disagree with the inmates start running the asylum. There's one guy in this entire country that's ever done anything about that. Me.
That is
We
true.
had two of these
That is true.
attorneys in Florida elected with Soros funding who said they wouldn't do
You
their
think it's
job.
changed, Nada?
I removed them from their posts. They are gone.
We'll need some refills on the beers because I know
President,
you need some.
all of these people because they are hurting the quality of life and they are victimizing innocent people in every corner of this country, and it will stop when I get into
Okay, you were right on Chris Christie. It was a 30-day waiting period, and there was a woman who was killed while waiting on her gun permit for protection.
How old is that? I'm bringing that from Red. That's probably what is that? That's going back to Obama
That
days.
is 2000 and actually 2015. I'm gonna go 15. Yeah, 2015. So good job, guys.
get sick.
Thank you,
Everybody
guys.
comes together and helps them get the
Excuse me, Dracula's talking.
accountability and transparency. Nothing of that.
One vote.
And small town values because then get this country on track again.
We can do it in North
Smile.
Yeah, you,
Let's form a fan of the DEA. I understand the drug crisis.
Right.
one enforce the law. When it comes Asa looks like what Mike Pence is going to look like in another 15 years.
Fentanyl.
And anything on top of it.
He has eyes like those white rats.
Yeah.
I mean, the white rats, they have like the eyes that are inflamed.
They're red.
Yeah, but he looks like they're probably red.
Yes.
Usually.
And he has
I
a
know.
tail.
Yeah,
I
he
can
does.
tell.
Well, that's really more of a growth of the coccyx bone, tailbone, but these are medical terms.
No worries. There's a lot of Trump people here.
As president of the United States, stop.
I couldn't do this one.
He starts at the top.
I rushed one out today in the fucking
He has eyes like that rat.
It's undermined by attacking judges, by attacking prosecutors, by attacking the system,
I'm
and
sorry.
saying that he's aggrieved. And so we have to have respect for
No,
our
seriously,
justice.
we're not like he isn't actually paralyzed on his right side, right? Like we're not just joking about
No,
something.
I don't think so.
He's just a bit of an asshat who refuses to move to move his right arm at all.
No, he's like a hip hop guy. He's grabbing his balls.
Former President Donald Trump says tomorrow.
Oh, you're Cypress Hill fan.
Candidates will have an opportunity to talk about
All right, we're going to a break. It looks like
All right,
Fulton County, that street.
well, really quick. What are you about to say there?
I was about to say we can go to another Trump clip if you want to, or if you want to provide something of commentary there. He was basically saying at the federal level, we're going to stop these smash and grabs. I'm like, really? How? Because that's a state issue that you have to deal with, and really it's a city issue that you have to deal with. And you have to get these stupid Democrats to have better policies in these cities where these things are occurring. It's not a federal send in the police thing because you don't have a police that you should be sending in.
I think you're right, but really quickly, we should probably go to, since we have a break here, some of your content. Where you were down there in Milwaukee. What we're about to see here first is you spent some time. This is, if I'm not mistaken,
Exclusive on the ground
with
footage.
Kerry Lake and other candidates.
Yeah, catcher for the Brewers.
Yeah, that would be fun.
We had that Chris Christie ad.
And he knows enough
Actually,
about
the
politics to
campaign
keep
for Chris
along
Christie
too.
That's right before that, if you want to hit that.
So it's right before his original.
Yeah.
Okay, we have new Chris Christie. We have the exclusive here at Ladder's Crowder. Of course, you can join Mug Club.
Or Bossman will be
Mug
another
Club,
good
and then
one to be
Gerald
watching
was
it
there on
with.
location in Milwaukee, and you can see the answers that we got from some of these.
Bossman's got a really good religious
Chris Christie.
understanding.
I can't guarantee you success for what I'm about. For the working man, you're going to get some straight talk from New Jersey. For the truth. Back it up now. Right? Donald Trump doesn't even have that game. Because the truth matters. If you are in search of the perfect candidate, it is time to leave. I am not it. We're going to be small, or we're going to be big. And that's why I came back to tell all of them that I intend to seek the Republican nomination for president of the
What up, Gonzo? Always watching.
Chris Christie, you make good cookies.
It's hooked by a portal.
Blake has decided to join
All
us.
right.
Thank you very much for being here.
It's so good to be back on.
I don't even know what that means.
Milwaukee. Wow, they've done a great job of this.
Absolutely. We were talking about this, I believe.
I don't really care about their backstage interviews. I don't know. I think it looks really good so far. And DeSantis is still holding his own, I guess. He had one good moment so far, but that's when Vivek was shining with probably two really good moments, and DeSantis probably came in with about one. Yeah, elaborate, please. You talking about me? No, yeah, I think she needs to elaborate that. Can't fix them, you can't help. But they keep you untethered by pretending they understand when they don't. Do you think, okay, do you think he's, okay, do you think, man, I thought he had a better knowledge of things. I didn't think he was grasping. If you're talking about a tether by pretending they understand, I'm so confused. But rather than explain it, they gave me more questions. I'm not asking you to describe a portal to me. Why do you think said person is hooked in a portal? Kitty. What are you doing? It's not comfortable in here. I don't even have any AC on. I don't know why she's been coming in here and hanging out lately, even though it's pretty warm in here. I don't have a problem with it though. Portals keep you hooked into helping / giving until you can give no more, no matter how much you think they're learning. They aren't learning a thing. They're the fisherman, you're the fish in such a relationship. Man. There's a lot of situations, and I don't know if I can necessarily call them organic portals where you see people, because so a love could be a portal. Like there could be all kinds of things, I guess, if that's the vague definition. Succubus. I don't want to be making these equivalents because I feel bad. People hate me because they think I talk shit, and that would be like, even just saying that would, for me, would be me being considered talking like shit to other people. I can't compare people to succubuses or vampires.
venue, September 16th, bigtip.com. They have their hands up like a kindergarten. 15th. I'm sorry. It has nothing to do with the Sicilian.
Don't worry, it's gonna be packed no matter what you say, Steve. I think it's 11 rows. It's 11 seats. Uh-oh. Talk about cholesterol.
Turn up. Let's just state the truth, okay? President Trump, I believe, was the best president of the 21st century.
Moment. I'm not finishing my drink though, but you got the drinking game rules, so everyone can see.
Yeah, that's just a drink.
That's just a drink. I can't finish my. It was just filled.
Understand how much good he just.
Trump is mentioned January 28th.
Hold on.
Okay.
We need this.
Continuing the party.
Him or Carrie Lake is the VP for Trump. That's my call.
Vision for this country. They could just change the channel to MSNBC right now. But I'm not.
Nada, you probably don't even know the significance of this conversation.
Point that dark brown finger.
But you asked enough questions to bring out some of the truth, so I appreciate it. I just wish there wasn't children in the room. Not in my room right here. Oh, I'm not blocking anybody. No. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. It's just kind of an inside joke. It blanked out a comment? Oh. No, I didn't block anything. You're good.
Sit here and answer.
You sit everywhere.
No, don't fiddle out, Martha. You let him walk.
Let it be his booze. Let it reverberate into his.
Brett's lecturing the top guy that hurt himself.
Yeah, moderator interrupted. Drink.
You want to stand up for the rule.
Yes.
And law and order. And the fact is that it can't be selective. In your book, you have much different.
There you go,
Donald
Gonzo.
Trump than you're saying here tonight. And Andrew, it is very true. It's very true. I read it. You know, it's behavior.
Quote it, bitch.
You know what?
Quote it, Dom DeLuise.
Look at, he's not taking any of it.
Than you two. You've never done it. Like you've never done anything to try to advance the interests of this government except to put yourself forward as a candidate tonight. And here's the thing: we stood up for law.
He's in his 30s, Chris. You didn't stand up to a waiting period and people got killed in your state. You stand up to no one, Chris Christie. If nothing else tonight, please let his giant bubble be burst as far as the tough talk and straight from the hip. Everything about that man is phony.
I saw him stand up to the managers at Arby's.
You said you have the beef.
Why the they advertise that now? I know. Preserve, protect.
I hope she didn't get like timed out or something.
You know, bro.
Yeah, the same to read. It's a cable.
It's got to be cable.
She should be good.
Stand up.
I didn't push anything. I wouldn't block anybody.
Let's see it.
Former Vice President is on this stage tonight. He has faced hecklers on the campaign trail over his action.
Look at this wooden puppet.
January
On the
6th.
day, the Vice President
You're about termites,
moved
Mike.
forward with the certification of the election.
I think Geppetto had a weekend with Pinocchio and Mike Pence happened
Did the right thing.
on Temptation Island.
Do you believe he did the right thing?
Absolutely. He did the right thing.
Oh, you suck.
How many people on here are going to side with Mike Pence?
The weaponization of the Department of Justice. When I'm president, the first thing
That's a good thing. Good.
Second,
Defund the FBI. Whoever here tonight says disband the FBI, our intelligence agencies, and build anew is the guy who should win this debate. I've said that's a close-headed issue for me. You cannot take this country without disbanding our intelligence agencies where political propaganda and hate artists win.
Here's Mike Pence did the right thing, and then say, well,
against political opponents, but also against parents who show up at school board meetings. They're called under this
Now, that's clever. That's how Glenn Youngkin won his election.
Right.
He talked about the critical race theory. He talked about the white privilege. He talked about the transgender bathrooms. And people always say those social issues don't work. Guess what? They won Youngkin's governorship in a very, very blue state. So this is, some people say this is ill-advised. Don't listen to those people. Those people are morons.
this whole guns drawn because this DOJ uses their power, uses their authority, not just against political opponents, but against conservatives and conservative causes. It is time for a change in America.
Well, second,
and I
Scott.
can bring that change to the great.
Empty cartridge.
He did go a little bit.
Uh-oh.
January 6th.
Gotta reload.
Disband. Come on, someone, grow some balls here. Disband the FBI. Comment. Let's see your chat in Mug Club. But let's put out a poll. Do you think we need you to? You right now. Millions of people out there, whether you're following, whether you're hundreds of thousands who are watching right now across all our platforms, you are a sample group. Do you want your candidate, the Republican candidate, to run on a platform of disbanding our intelligence agencies? They want you to think that you're an extremist. I think it's most of you. Let's put out a poll.
That you focus on the mission above all else. You can't get distracted. So Republicans, we've got to look forward and we've got to make sure that we're that can win in November 2021.
To support defend the Constitution of the United States. I think the American people deserve to know whether everyone on this stage agrees that I kept my oath to the Constitution that day. There's no more important.
You were inconsistent in your answer. And here's the thing: it's not about just defending. We're no longer a nation. Look, I want to think the Constitution. Yes, exactly. You are no longer a nation or a candidate defending the Constitution. What you are doing is trying to undo a president. And by the way, you're really talking about 12 years, 8 years of Obama and 4 of Biden. Then there were 4 in between, 3 really, of someone wiping their ass with the Constitution. You're not defending something anymore. You're trying to reinstitutionalize the Constitution. You are trying to ensure that you reinvigorate the American people to understand. Not understand, or if they do, they don't care about the Constitution. You are no longer in defense mode. You need to be in attack mode. You need to be in rebuild mode. And that's why Mike Pence, he should disappear into obscurity. He's not talking to the American public, and certainly not the voting base, as far as where they are at this period in time. This is, when you wonder about the donor class, ask yourself about Mike Pence. If Tucker Carlson didn't do what he did with Mike Pence, guess what? He would still be a darling to a lot of the conservative donor media class. And I say this as a, you can go back to 2008 on YouTube. No one has a track record longer than me of being a conservative, pretty much basic bitch, pumpkin spice conservative.
I'm actually mad that they didn't cover that because Pence went to the fact of, all right, would you guys have all done this at the same time? Because Pence was actually making them make a stand about, do you support my decision or would you have done another decision? And that's where I actually wish it would have went to the panel. I know he didn't control it, but
It is a turning point, and people like Mike Pence are out too much.
Consistent with RNC rule.
Chad said this up. They're saying disband like crazy.
Yeah, well, let's put out a poll on Twitter.
We are, yeah.
And we're gonna.
Can I answer the question?
No.
You
That's a tough one. Hey.
Mike Pence stood for the Constitution, and he deserves not grudging credit. He deserves our thanks as Americans for putting his oath of office and the Constitution of the United States before personal, political, and unfair pressure. And the argument that we need to have in this party before we can move on to the issues that Ron talked about is we have to dispense with the person who said that we need to suspend the Constitution. Put forward his.
They go attack Donald Trump. I don't think you're going to like how this goes, Hot Shot.
I give him credit, but I mean, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what he thinks he's going to gain from saying that. Look at the polls. Trump's winning.
He has advisors telling
you know he's sitting at home right now. All right, I'm taking notes.
I do think that we need to give him credit for that.
Chris Christie, this one's for you.
What he needs are some lifts in his
When it comes
shoes.
to whether President Trump should serve or not, I trust the American people. Let them vote. Let them decide.
The American people don't trust their vote. We have that vote. It's a significant portion of Americans, including, by the way, Democrats who don't believe that their vote is secure or that it's counted properly. They're speaking to people who aren't there. This is the problem with the donor class. This is where Vivek is going to pick up some seats. The GOP, do you want a puppet candidate? Say, the American people have to trust their vote. They already don't. Talk to those people. They're tuning in right now. They're looking for a reason to give you their vote. Are you man enough or woman enough, Mickey Haley, to take it?
I'll have to check it out.
Balls. It's like January 6th. But I would say you started off the top of this hour saying we're going to talk about China, Ukraine, education.
I lowered the crime in Transylvania by 40%.
Who's smacking jukebox?
Japan's were up 75%. But
Hey, Rob who wants his eyebrows back.
the garlic harvest is great.
Have a good night, Mud Rabbit.
Looks through.
The U.S. has committed nearly 70 cents. I speak on this issue.
They've been doing clips all throughout the Trump interview.
Why don't you say this? Making a commitment that on day
Uh,
one you would pardon Donald Trump. I'm the only candidate.
Hold on.
Let's see what they say. Let's
Our nation forward. You should be able to make a commitment. The same justice system that was this corrupt.
I've actually given pardons. As governor of the state of Indiana, it usually follows a finding of guilt and contrition by the individual that's been convicted. So, look, if I'm president of the United States, we'll give fair consideration to any pardon request. But if I'm
Damn.
That's political talk.
They look good at debates.
it's not about looking back at.
It was our man on the ground up there.
Wow.
It's about January 20th,
Yeah, but they've been playing clips of the Trump interview the whole time. I don't know if they're going to do a compilation at the end.
To support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Boy. And it ended with a prayer. So let me on. It was a promise that I made to the American people,
More like a statement.
but I also made it
It's not really a prayer.
debated to my
Demand to the Lord.
that years I sought to keep that oath. And everyone on this stage needs to make it clear whether or not they'll do the same. Take your oath in this job and confidence in the American people.
Vice President.
All in all.
Look, I've made it clear. I had
He's a bitch, girl.
that the issues surrounding the 2020 election and the controversy
Let me tell you about men's wear.
come to this and not come to criminal proceedings. I would rather they have been resolved by the American people and the American people alone. But no one's above the law. And President Trump is entitled to the presumption of innocence that every American is entitled to.
Bring back up the drinking game rules really quickly for people who aren't familiar. We're playing right now. Please don't get alcohol poisoning. Just pick a light beer. Anytime Trump is mentioned, January 6th of 2020, moderator interrupts a candidate. Any thug-like moment, and you finish your drink anytime a candidate mentions a Democrat other than Biden.
Exercise are taken.
We'll also add anti-thug-like moment, meaning a low light. Which is pretty much every time Mike Pence
How
speaks.
about a market has a wardrobe malfunction?
That'll be the hashtag show.
Election when we beat them in 2024. Thank you.
Oh, yes. That's a little presumptuous if the guy is you.
He said, leave it to the American people. That's what they were doing on January 6th.
Right.
In my opinion, administration, it doesn't get any more.
No, I understand. Yeah.
Regardless of that specifics of that plan, is there anyone on stage who would not
Can I chime in on this?
the increase of more funding to
We would need not support.
The vet's got his hand up.
Hey, Ron, it's a raise your hand question.
Can I ask you why they have Dallas Cowboy logo?
Yeah, because they're American.
Well, I'm with a cheerleader.
It's a good answer. Good answer.
Doing it not so I think we need
Excuse me, Paul Lynn is
to
talking.
be contingent on them doing it. And I would have support in China to be able to take China and do what we need to do.
Let me raise my finger.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you would not support an increase of funding to
I would not. And I think that this is disastrous.
Good. Good. Point that finger.
Somebody else's border when we should be using military
Yeah, thug life.
resources to prevent across the invasion of our own southern border here in the United States.
Boom, drink. What did I say at the beginning of this?
Man,
Winning
he's killing it.
inspiration. That was a winning issue for Donald Trump. It's still a winning issue, by the way, for that base who voted for Donald Trump. People in the Rust Belt and people in states who experienced that with the southern border. It's the one where we can pick up some of the left piece to Donald Trump. People say, you know what? He didn't really deliver on his promise. I will finish with Donald Trump.
I think people in New York and Chicago and Martha's Vineyard are starting to.
They might have strong opinions about that.
Because we shipped them to you.
Quebec is 4 for 5.
I don't understand the sports reference, but I understand it. Good, right?
I was sitting next to Diane Carroll.
Ukraine.
And I can't train.
Hold on, let's do some.
I wanted to see for myself
If the cabbage was fresh.
whatever Putin's army was doing to the poor Ukrainian people. And let me tell you, I want you all to look around this arena tonight and imagine that every one of these photos, every one of them was filled. It was
That's a change right there.
500 more children outside to make over 20,000 who have been.
I hate him. And I hate everybody who stands for buddy from
Their
their
mothers and their fathers and
Yeah.
no.
No, I hate what he says. I don't agree with any
Out
of
of your
it.
mind.
Let me just say this.
Talking
Let me
about.
just say this. Chris Christie decided he wanted to go over and see President Zelensky. Right? No, don't worry. Just put him anywhere.
We have a new intern PA.
Yeah, he's doing a good job.
Look, he's got Tourette's. Quick,
Don't
quick,
worry. Yeah. The good Tourette's, though, the funny kind.
Careful, you might appear immediately.
Got little Garrett bringing up for refreshments.
So take him to a Yankee fan. You'll be your best friend.
I'd serve beers.
A lot of crowd.
Chris Christie, right now, is lying through his team. He didn't go over to see what was happening firsthand on the ground. We have media reports that, Chris Christie. You understand what's going on by hearing. Look, I get it. Maybe you think that there's a little bit more to the story. You went over there because you have a campaign that is faltering, and your only path to victory is to stay relevant somehow. By the way, he doesn't read lyrics to John Bon Jovi to put next to the freaking Oscar that Sean Penn left over there.
Yeah.
That's not going to help them win a war. Don't lie and use something that is absolutely tragic to get your campaign off the ground.
You know what?
Gas back.
Do you know why else? Do you know what the other reason why he went to Ukraine? Because he had to go there because he endorsed the government, Barack Obama, by the way, who installed a puppet government. Right, just to be clear. Not saying that Russia is right. Putin, dick. Okay, I understand it. But let's not act as though Ukraine is a bastion of freedom and democracy. Go back. Oh, look, he's making the quintessential Indian face, which I don't even care. Good for him, Ramaswamy.
The USSR does not exist anymore. It fell back in 1990.
Damn. Doug Nolan.
To Barack Obama, though, now, the Cold War called. They want the policy back.
Saying he wants to reestablish the old Soviet sphere.
You made your point, Vice President.
Am I imagining this? Or is Mike Pence defending funding Ukraine in a proxy war? Yep.
Yes.
Does he think that's what the Republican voters want right now? Is that what you want? You comment, by the way, hit like if you think that that's a horrible tack to take.
It's what the neocon.
Yeah.
Communist China. And we are driving Russia further into China's arms. The Russia-China military alliance
And they're
is
very
the
small.
single greatest threat we face. Nobody in either political party's talking about it. Everybody
Let the Indian finish.
Moderators interrupting drink.
Yeah.
God
We're
damn.
going to be drinking games. We have to scale it back. Yeah.
Never be in NATO, and then somehow China will not think about taking Taiwan. If they achieve peace through strength, Mr. Taiwan. Okay, here we go. Am I right?
Yes. Everyone in the Republican Party believes that Taiwan should be armed, should be protected. That's something that makes sense. Ukraine, Russia, I'm sorry, it's not our fight. Ukraine, you want to be in NATO? Guess what? You have a bunch of back payments.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you were mentioned, you get 30 seconds.
So the reality is that today Ukraine is not a priority for the United States of America. And I think that the same people who took us into the Iraq War, the same people who took us into the Vietnam War, you cannot start another no-win war. And I do not want to get to the point where we're sending our military resources abroad when we could be better using them here at home to protect our own borders, protect the homeland.
All right, so I'll just
Someone plays a theme from Homeland every time he appears.
China and Russia do not have a military alliance. That's a very unlikely alliance to have. Right now, they have something like an economic, China and Russia. Yeah, right. They don't have a military. I think he said that, either misspoke or he says that often. Maybe he's assuming that will happen.
He means to say that they
What's going on, Brantley?
Interesting. Friendship.
Hope you're doing well.
Friendship.
Why? First of all, the American president needs to have more clarity They need to know the difference between right and wrong. They
I hope
need
so.
to know the difference between good and evil. When you look at the situation with Russia and Ukraine, here you have a pro-American country that was invaded by a thug. So when you want to talk about what has been given to Ukraine, less than 3.5%.
A pro-American country, you mean the only other country in the world that hosts drag shows?
If you look at the percentages per GDP, 11 of the European countries have given more than the U.S. But what's really important is going
Yeah.
back to when China and Russia shook hands before the Olympics and named themselves unlimited partners. A win for Russia is a win for China. We have to know that. Ukraine.
Nikki, the guys need a sandwich.
So what do you do? Tell me what you do, Nikki. Come on. Give me the answer.
Look, here's what people don't want to say. They want to say, oh, from America, international relations, and of course, it's internet. Okay, are you willing to go to war? Yeah. And by the way, $135 billion. This
I'm
is the
sorry
only
to hear
time
that,
this year
man.
You can spend more than
Best
many
wishes for you
countries'
guys.
GDP in a
Glad you're taking care of her.
claim that you are not in a war. Just to be clear, the world views it as the United States being engaged in this war. You may not like it, you may not agree with that, but that is true. And I understand the arguments regarding Ukraine and Russia. I understand it, but when you actually look at the amount of money spent, I understand it's a drop in the bucket compared to the Inflation Reduction Act. I get that. But again, it is the principle of, do we want to be the country who is involved in proxy wars with countries? By the way, she just said pro-American. That's not true about Ukraine. Certainly not true about Zelensky. That is complete total horseshit. That's neocon talking points. Let's go back.
And you know,
Bowen came off like you've been pushing you've been pushing this line all week. Did you proper fake you? Okay, let me address that. I'm glad you brought that up. They're all going to Cincinnati.
Of course, they can.
Grab her hand.
They were swatted.
Don't let her overtalk you.
You know what?
She will.
It is a friendship. And you know what friends do? Friends help each other stand on their own 2 feet. I will lead Abraham Accords 2.0. I will partner with Israel to make sure Iran never is nuclear armed. But you know what I love about Israel? And I've been there probably in the last 10 years more than most people on this stage. You know what I love about them? I love their border policies. I love their tough policies.
He is bringing it to immigration, which was the singular winning issue for Donald Trump in 2016. Got away from it a little bit. He knows what he's doing.
Nikki, I said mustard, not mayonnaise.
I just want him, when she's pointing at me, he goes, you're not that big a boy.
Your first obligation
Protect the American people.
is to defend our country and its people.
Yes.
And that means you're sending all this money, but you're not doing what we need to do to secure our own border. We have tens of thousands
Yeah.
of people.
we can be
That's-
Bullshit.
Leia.
Bullshit. Look,
No,
I'm
that's
gonna
not
go
Leia.
by rote here.
That's
Please bring
Putin.
it up. I think you probably have this in the change, build a wall, change my mind. I think the most generous.
She's named after
mistaken for the wall being built. As Donald
the
Trump originally
main
proposed,
girl
it
in
would have been
Minecraft.
about $20 billion. I think some people tried to say it was $40
Her
billion.
real name's
but the
Beta.
average somewhere was around $20 billion. And illegal immigrants cost the American taxpayer an average of $116 billion a year. So if you're talking about, let's call it $40 billion. Let's use the Salon sources as Governor Christie and Nikki Haley want to use themselves. They're using these talking points today from the far left. Okay, $116 billion is what's cost to the American public, okay, the American taxpayer every single year, $40 billion. Compare that to the amount of money pledged to Ukraine. That's what it would cost to secure the border physically. Of course, we need better policies as well, like deportation, no more Dreamer Act, no more amnesty. We need all those things in conjunction. But the point is, it is a drop in the bucket when you're talking about securing the American people. So when people say this is a very small number in comparison to our deficit, to our spending, but it's a very large number, $135 billion dedicated to Ukraine in comparison to what it would cost to at least secure our border. That's why Republican voters don't like these people, just to be clear. Secure our borders first, and then maybe you can make a case to be a neocon foreign policy hawk.
And not with the wall, with the military.
All the above.
I'm serious. He wants turrets It's like Congo for him.
I want landmines. They work beautiful.
I want to boom trap like Kevin McAllister's uncle's New York apartment.
I'm serious though.
You can't
When they bring up a wall, I laugh. Even when Trump brings it up, really?
But we
The
need a
strongest military on earth.
yeah, but we need a wall first.
Why?
Then you put people on the wall. You have to.
Oh, this is yours.
Yes.
Okay.
Plug the
In
hole.
that case, put a fence up 3 feet up.
Research
It's the guns and flamethrowers that keep people out, not the goddamn wall.
the most liberal estimates.
Jesus.
Values at $21 billion.
$21 billion. Yeah, $21 billion, $116 billion cost.
Yeah, but Trump wants a zebra kit, so it's gonna go up there.
They like sending over to Ukraine to prolong a war.
Yes, to prolong a war while the American public is struggling.
What's Dracula talking about?
The Biden administration wanted to put 87,000 people in the IRS as opposed to giving the money in the form we need to our own border patrol.
Well done, Mr. Burkham.
Thank you for letting me talk again, guys.
Thank you, Lugosi.
Thanks for reminding the people up here.
Yes, the 87,000 IRS agents and hire double the number of border patrol agents. I just left Yuma, Arizona about 2 weeks.
By the way, he's going to get fact checked on that, just to be clear, and just don't be fooled by this tomorrow. They'll say, Tim Scott, it's not 85,000 IRS agents. 80-something thousand IRS employees are not officially agents. Who cares? It doesn't matter. A bunch of pencil pushing, pencil neck pussies with blocks. It's still a problem.
He was in Yuma, Arizona. Apparently, talk about the sunblock. Listen,
More Social Security watches have been caught at our border. How many have not been caught at our southern border?
I think he was in about 350 to Yuma.
350. For 5 more, we could have the military-grade technology to surveil our southern border to stop the
thank you, military.
Hold on. I don't want to look at them crossing it.
It's such an empty conversation. We don't know what the best way to stop it is. The biggest problem that we recently had that we know of was fucking tunnels. So how building a wall is like there's so much higher technology that we could use. I kind of agree with Nick DiPaolo on this. Nick DiPaolo, the comedian, is actually way on point with what he's talking about.
Legally, are we?
I want to stop them. What are we doing?
You have to see it before you shoot it.
I want a laser wall that vaporizes.
Ooh.
government.
I want super soap filled with cat.
They'll be around. What if they have cuts?
That's very cheap. I'm saving them money. You ever been spraying with cat food?
They would also solve our feral cat problem.
Oh, yeah. It's a 2 for 1. We're doing it right now.
Oh, Dracula's talking about it.
100,000 a day, we're taking mass casualties, and that's a statistic, but these are sons and daughters, nieces and nephews that we're
We're talking about fentanyl.
We're talking about R. Kelly.
They're flying night helicopter missions from San Diego to the Gulf Coast to stop these transnational criminal organizations. They've got better funding on their side than we've got on our side. Speaking
It's a trans, yes. We said.
Nice job.
A valiant effort.
Seriously, the little snotty hips.
Mexico, Vice President Pedro Palos.
Images from earlier this month. It really doesn't help. I'm asking a question.
But
That's a drink.
is it just me, or does Mike Pence, is he acting like he has this in the bag?
He does.
He is.
Delusional.
He really is. Okay.
What's Richard Pryor doing?
And I was starting to cross the floor. This shit cracked and it does some shit.
Cocaine.
Love it.
Used by the Border Patrol, law enforcement as needed to
I was
protect
crossing
the
the
border.
border, and I lost my goddamn mind.
It would all be used for intelligence gathering purposes. This is
What
not.
would you know about that?
Whenever I was in the Bush administration, we went down there.
Oh, that's a ringing endorsement.
Yes. Hey guys, you remember when I didn't do a dang thing to stop the problem because it's terrible today?
That's true. Add the mustache. What's the name of that
They're
actor
not
with the-
trying to talk about that at all.
in, Snapshot?
Yes.
They came out here.
A little bit about the border, but they were arguing about what should be there.
Not this.
Oh my God.
Bringing up Mexico as a partner, we have to use economic pressure to accomplish that. President Obrador has not been helpful, and we have to use economic pressure that this administration is not using. The rule of law has to.
How we dealt with this in Arkansas was we didn't have it.
You know.
Let's talk about Mexico like he lives in Texas.
We dealt with it for you. Yeah,
You know, in Little Rock, the two Mexicans started some shit.
You know what I did with that?
I put a stop to that.
Don't have dark nothing. Hey, the damage they can do with a toothbrush and a paper clip.
Exactly. Silverado. You look terrific. Did I mention that 12 months?
Mexico to take out fentanyl labs,
Take
to
off your
take out drug cartel operations.
Yes.
Do you support that kind of American
Yes.
military?
Look ahead, like somebody
Yes,
else.
I will do it. Day 100%. Here's the thing. Special forces to take out fentanyl labs.
I will say Ron DeSantis has answered very clearly on the question before where he said, no, I will not support amnesty whatsoever. He's been very clear about that. He just needs to be clear in this debate.
Your southern border, we have to reestablish the rule of law, and we have to defend our people. The president of the United States has got to use all available powers as commander in chief to protect our country and to protect the people. So when they're coming
Against the globalists. Finish the sentence.
yes, we reserve the right to operate. How many more tens of thousands are we going to let to die? I am sick. I met angel moms throughout this country. I met a lady.
It's too much. It's too much of a preachy one. I don't like it.
Took one Percocet that was laced with fentanyl. Immediately, that is happening all across this country because of the poison that they are bringing in. So, as president, would I use force? Would I treat them as foreign terrorist organizations? You're darn right I would.
Does that mean bombing them?
Would have been great if not for the you're darn right I would. I'm sorry, that's just not a good way, friend. You're darn tootin'. You're darn tootin'. El Chapo? El Chapo? I have a little something for you. And guess what? It's not snack time.
That should have been a thug life.
I'm not, it's an Apache. I'm not, now could be Satan.
I'm not talking malarkey.
Yes. I'm not talking to tomfoolery. Okay? This isn't the local town hall hootenanny.
You know, Jill had some fentanyl in the kitchen.
Awesome.
He was cooking it. There was a fire.
That's been eloquently described to us.
Tonight's a mannequin.
He's talking about who's best prepared to be the next president of the United States.
He wanted to go to prepare because he was vice president. What did you do with the president?
You went to the room, man.
It's like saying, I played in the professional league. Right, you were dead last and you scored nothing.
I negotiated the remaining Mexico policy on behalf of the president.
Say rocks around the clock.
Right. It's because we use
Oh my God, he's agreeing with Asa. Here's how to back this up.
and they allow us to have people wait in Mexico while they apply for asylum and ended asylum abuse overnight. We got the Mexicans to deploy their National Guard to their southern border and their southern border.
Trump did, stupid.
Before, and I want to promise you, as President of the United States of America, I will engage Mexico the exact same way, and we will
Wait for us.
military, and we will hunt down and destroy.
This guy, here's the problem with Mike Pence. He wants to claim credit for Donald Trump's presidency, and we all get and then turn on him.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Damn.
By the way, it's like we will hunt down and destroy the car.
We have to make sure that they are not rewarded for having broken the law. And one of the things that's with China, we can't take our child ball. Yes, it's important that we secure the border. Very important, as I just said. But China is sending these chemicals to these drug cartels for them to create the fentanyl.
That's a good point.
Hundreds of thousands of our citizens.
Let's bomb
Chinese are engaging in an act of the war against us.
Take them
Killing
both.
our citizens.
Just drop him. That'd be a they wouldn't go.
Give him 20 minutes at a photo party and fucking drop that.
All the Christmas were black and sun. We have to find a shade.
Nothing's looking.
We allow
We're gonna roll him at the Mexican card.
That's like a bad for a fat guy. I hate.
I don't know. What did you say?
I know. It was
It's a punk reference.
You can do bad for a fat guy I hate.
All right. So really quickly, I just want to go back through a few things that happened while we're going to go to the Trump.
A Trump clip.
Here's another clip, Tyler, if you're watching.
One of my people that I love to hate, Robert Reich, said there's no such thing as abortion all the way up to the moment of birth. Governor DeSantis is telling a dangerous lie.
Yeah.
That is not true.
They asked Governor Northam that, but he might be too busy doing blackface in his retirement face.
I'm glad I hate so much.
So I'm trying to go to the next Trump clip here. Gosh, it's like 50 pages back up.
It's you mean President Donald Trump with Tucker Carlson?
Tucker Carlson.
So we are and keep this in the lower third here, just so people can see that they're advertising Birch Gold. Oh, I guess they don't have I guess they don't have Devane doing it anymore. So look, they're really upgrading. Good
That's happening.
Yes.
Bill Pence.
There were a couple of them that they gave me. They gave me one really cool. So I don't know. Let's go to the
So
Gavin Newsom.
and you can use the hashtag Crowder GOP to pay $10 off Mug Club at Crowder GOP. It's a promo code use lightofbetter.com/Mug Club. We are covering both the debate as well as the Tucker Carlson interview that just dropped with Donald Trump. Which is this next clip, Gerald?
So this one is of him talking about Gavin Newsom.
Oh, okay, good.
There's another one they wanted to get to, but we'll have to get that.
Okay, Gavin
Yeah, they're
Newsom.
gonna give me the names if they want them.
All right, Gavin Newsom. So,
Newsom, right?
I always got along well with it, believe it or not, but it could end, it could be somebody else. He's got a big load on his shoulders because you look at California, what's happening.
No, Paul Pelosi dropped it.
People really, the people that vote for him, I don't know if they care, you look at so many of the things that are going on, and people don't seem to be, in the old days, if you had a bad record, it meant a lot. Today, if you have a bad record, it doesn't really mean anything.
Well, I actually, I'm not careful. I would say about Gavin Newsom. We'll see if he ends up running against that guy. But it's civil war, like it's actually open conflict that he's talking about. Oh, I think maybe
we have that clip.
Yeah, we have that one.
Great. Let's hear this.
We got
President Donald Trump talking about
8 seconds.
civil war, or as Mike Pence refers to it, something he will never touch.
But do you think it's possible that there's open conflict? We see details on it. I don't know because I don't know what it. I could say there's a level of passion that I've never seen. There's a level of hatred that I've never seen. And that's probably a bad combination. Donald Trump, thank you. Thank you very much.
Why is he interviewing him in the slave galley?
There you go. Do you see the
12 years Tucker's dead?
passion? I would say peacefully go, but last time that didn't work.
Oh, look, I don't know. I would think there shouldn't be any type of civil unrest, but if I don't win, for that question, I can't speak for them. A lot of people say if I don't win, they might try to take out the government. I hope it doesn't happen. I say no. That's the worst thing. They say that's what people tell me. There's nothing I can do.
I love it. His style of pawning it off on someone else.
It's just
Someone else always.
I've been
the
talking about
originator
that since
of the idea.
2015.
I know.
Trump
Very
crossed.
good.
A lot of people tell me. People like who's saying that? A lot of people say that. A lot of people. You wouldn't know. I know these people.
He's a great.
It really is. Like here's the thing. People say Donald Trump is a liar. No. Look, Joe Biden is a compulsive liar.
Yeah.
Donald Trump's a bit of. He's like a car. He's a bit of a bullshit artist. And that's exaggerated.
There's a big difference.
It's a huge difference.
I mean, and friggin' Biden's lying about shit that, affects everybody.
Yeah.
Trump might have been exaggerated about how many people's at the inauguration.
Right, like Joe Biden will
fucking
say,
difference.
Joe Biden, so Bidenomics has helped every single American when they are struggling more than ever.
Yeah.
Donald Trump will say, my wall will be the prettiest wall. Like, all right, it might be okay.
Do you like the secret?
Prettiest wall.
My wall will be like the bodega wall. It's a perfect 10. That's what people say. I say, maybe it's more like a Kenny Island wall. They say it's bodega there.
So we've got the debate coming back up here, but a lot of people are saying that the Trump interview, it wasn't like, it's not Donald Trump being Donald Trump. It's Donald Trump
Seems
being
like he has some advisors in his ear.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
He's not punching back and stuff. Like, it's not the funny.
When was this recorded? Do we know?
I think a couple of days ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
come on, hang on.
So, yeah, that's true. More indictments. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, look, that would get to anybody. I think.
About 92 charges.
Even Mr. DeSantis. We are back. Hashtag Crowder GOP debate, and we will see who has the balls after this to sit down at the Rumble booth on the debate.
States locked their kids out of school for a year and a half. That was wrong.
I think Alex Jones is on location.
I was pilloried by the media, but I stood for our kids. As president, I'll stand for you and your kids as well. But we have to make sure that what our schools are doing is focusing on solid academics. In Florida, we eliminated critical race theory from our K level.
Yeah,
Without a doubt, the best
Fine
governor
with
in the
it, too.
country.
There's no doubt. And that's
Yeah.
Florida's
It's the guy with the best record and the worst rhetorical skill, I would say. That's the thing. He's not great at speaking right now. He's not great at invigorating people, but he has a fantastic record.
Yes.
Yeah, he'll learn that. Like that's the best.
validation
in what it means to be an American.
Yeah, that would be fun. We were talking about that earlier. Then we got into talking about succubuses and vampires, and it got a little too deep.
Nuclear Regulatory Commission, the IRS, the Department of Commerce, many of these should not exist.
That's correct.
So
Good.
the education question.
Like moments.
So we have a crisis of achievement. Let's shut down the head of the snake, the Department of Education. Take that $80 billion, put it in the hands of parents across this country. This is the civil rights issue of our time. Allow any parent to choose where they send their kids to school. Every high school senior should have to pass the same civics test that, frankly, every immigrant, including my mother, had to pass in order to become a citizen of this country.
Civics. Richard Dreyfuss right now with New documentary. I've been saying that for years.
You know, the word privilege gets used a lot. Well, you know what? I did have the ultimate privilege of two-parent house with a focus on educational achievement. I want every kid to enjoy that. So part of the problem is we also have a federal government that pays single women more not to have a man in the house than to have a man in the house, contributing to an epidemic of fatherlessness. And I think that's
but it's a burning hip hop scene.
But don't stop it. But that's an important point to make, because a lot of people who are labeled when we talk about the fatherless households in the Black community, it's about 50-50 split. Half the time it's the moms pushing them out because they want an additional check from the government, and actually want to support their children, but they can have their wages garnished, they can be put in jail, and the mother has no burden of proof to show that that money is going to the children. So let's just be clear. When we talk about fatherless Black households, you just made a good point. He's talking about mothers who are incentivized by the government.
yes.
I've been blaming them for years.
Is that factual though?
Yes.
Yeah.
This issue?
Mothers are incentivized by the government to be single mothers, and then they get more benefits depending on if they have a child with a different father every time. At least in my state that I know of. Depends from state to state. Kind of varies.
We're losing track of the fact that education differs by state. Some school districts are doing a fantastic job, some less so. But the idea that every school district state that every teacher is somehow indoctrinating people is just false. You know, when I was building a company,
That's a bad answer. Yeah. It is a systemic problem. Systemic racism isn't a problem. Systemic educational corruption is a
I'll
problem.
bring up the 4 exceptions.
Right. But if we talk to them, we did it. And as governor,
Education is a good charter.
As a governor, I go, I shadow the students. I don't know, the night before, I find out students, the student finds out, I'm going to go to every class with them. I don't sit and lecture school districts how to do it. I go and see the experience. And there's a lot of things that have to change. But what needs to change in education is it's innovation. We're doing it the same way we did it 50 years ago with innovation, not regulation. I would give it
That's not true.
Education.
That's not true. We're not doing it the same way we did it 50 years ago. As a matter of fact, it's worse than before there was a federal Department of Education, just to be clear. When you hear this, by the way, Gen Z, a lot of millennials, you go, what will we do without a federal Department of Education? Ask your parents, the boomers who you mock all the time because it's a cool meme. They likely went to school before there was a federal Department of Education, and they actually tested higher in standardized testing scores because it was state-run and run by municipalities. So this idea that you need a federal Department of Education, no, it has failed. And actually, the objective measurements that we have, the metrics, shows that it has gotten worse.
Too much oversight.
That's where a guy like,
It's easy. There's too much oversight in it.
Let's hear it.
Crazy woke things happening in schools, but we gotta get these kids reading. If a child can read by third grade, less likely.
8 days after I was born, the Department of Education came around. October 17th, 1970 years old. I'm not old. I'm 43, not yet 44. I agree 100%.
So we blame you.
Yeah, but so Carrie Lake had this right? So we talked about, we did an interview with Carrie Lake. She said that money should follow the students. You want to change public education? You start incentivizing schools by letting children and parents, obviously parents make the decision, but the children, the dollars follow them. They get to pick where they go. If you have a good school and you're desirable, more people.
By the way, the black and white and the gray issues coming up, it's the one that was controversial. It's the one that went on for an hour and a half with, of course, a black woman whose daughter went to private school from a wealthy suburban area. Guess what? They attacked me. You'll see this. All of them were very good conversations. They were furious. They demanded that I not air it. And after that, I said, hold on a second. Let's see if we can find common ground on one thing. So it was a segment that was being uploaded as a video. It was a black woman and her daughter saying, we don't need to hear this. We don't think this is productive. And then at the end of it, they agreed. They said, well, yeah, school choice, the school voucher program. They said, how can anyone be against that? And I said, hold on a second. Hold on. What if I were to tell you that the only reason that Democrats oppose it is because they claim it's racist? They said, Well, that's bullshit. I said, that's my point exactly. That'll be coming out next week or the week after. Let's hear Mike.
Did you say that, or did you say, what if I talk to a carpet cool?
I
saw you.
You don't need a president.
I saw you. I saw you. We said dump it.
No, you didn't say not to pop it. Like drop it. Like
I need a president who knows how
he's getting booed again.
how the White House works.
What were people laughing at him for?
He just sent me his flood.
Against No Child Left Behind, when Republicans were doubling the Department of Education. I'll also shut
No,
down the
get rid of it.
Department of Education. And when I
Oh,
was
good.
governor,
There's one answer that's good.
They put the camera on. It's 1988.
Yeah.
isn't it school choice to every family in America?
So we're up to the board.
Yeah, hold on. You were in the White House. You didn't get it done.
That's right.
And then he wants to pass the buck.
We're gonna do this. You didn't do it.
But you know what I'd say, Gerald? I'd go, Gerald. I was the vice president.
Okay,
I went to
fine,
funerals.
fine.
They wouldn't let me.
The difference between somebody who's an automaton and somebody who's actually a thinking agent in the White House. This
guy's so much brighter than anybody else, except for, like I said, I like
We do need somebody of a different generation to lead this nation.
Yes, we do.
Look at the way it runs in Inside of Chicago, to Kansas,
He's gonna blow up.
middle of Philadelphia, where traditional
The clock will
Republican
come out.
candidates don't go.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we have an opportunity to build a
Right,
multi-ethnic,
no, exactly.
working class majority to deliver a landslide. And I think I'm the only candidate in this race, young or old, black or white, to bring all of those voters along to deliver a Reagan 1980 revolution. So we're going to do it twice.
Is he saying that because he's between black and white?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's actually darker than Tim Scott.
But he said,
You can do a side by side. I guarantee you.
Oh, no.
Certainly South Indians are. Maybe not him.
Tim Scott.
Maybe not him, but South Indians are darker.
I'm all for him. Like,
I love him. I love him. I love his food. I love his culture.
You have 30 seconds on the same question. On education, first of all, look at Arkansas.
I wish I could have heard the back and forth with
Go to the hell, Nick.
Pence and him, but they just talked over it.
What if anyone
Gosh,
wanted to
come
look
on.
at Arkansas?
exactly. What if they look at Arkansas? We've got Walmart. Otherwise, we wouldn't exist.
Exactly.
Look at all these trailer parks. Could you pay?
Pence probably set him up even more.
We saw that in series.
But Vivek is doing really good in this debate. A couple of people had moments of shining. I think DeSantis is doing okay.
Stage presence.
Compete with China.
He kind of does look like Elvis.
He does.
Yeah.
She ate on a toilet. I really feel like this is a Asa, you ignorant slut.
Yes. Yes.
Like, gosh. All right, let me hear this question.
In this country, you talked about it a little bit before tonight. So is there a role for a president of the United States in changing that? What would you do to change that?
Our nation was founded upon the Judeo-Christian values that have made this the greatest nation on God's green earth. I'm a big believer in Ephesians 3:20 that God is able to do exceedingly abundantly.
Ladies, right now, they call you 3/5 as a person.
Yeah,
That's exactly what they said.
We want others to follow. On education, the only way we change education in this nation is to break the backs of the teachers' unions. Standing
Good answer.
in the doorhouse of our
That's
kids,
too violent, that image.
pushing them into fake schools
Shoot them in the head with that work.
of the greatest future they can have.
We're going to soften it.
I actually agree with him 100% on that.
You should do some mandatory military service.
No,
I thought that was on the show.
mandatory military service.
Somebody that volunteered to serve, inspired by September 11, and then I deployed to Iraq alongside U.S. Navy.
That's why I like this guy too.
And it's
walks the walk.
something that I think has taught me, you know, when you go in that type of
Called monkeypox.
anything you
You can follow up under an assassination attempt.
I really thought there was a shot. Trump's not even there. These guys ain't.
Yeah, but what if it's set up is they put him in jail and they try to put their person in second? That's why you need to pay attention to all the sides. In case something ever did happen, which I wouldn't want it to, but
Okay, now for
if any of these happen to stick, it could be some serious trouble.
The recent spike in UFO encounters.
UFO question? And you wonder why legacy media is dying.
Who just said that? I get the UFO question.
Chris looks like a UFO.
I think it was Kristen. It was.
People are taking it a lot more seriously, and we're hearing that, you know, there are things going on. So, if
We take this about as seriously as you do.
Christy, would you level?
Oh, he likes the flying T-cells.
Yeah, but a flying saucer get off the planet if you're in it.
They bring donuts.
and especially coming from a woman from New Jersey. I think it's horrible, but just because I'm from New Jersey, you asked me about unidentified flying objects. And
Thank you for telling us what
different
stands for.
Different. Look,
What question, bro?
the job of the President of the United States is to level with the American people about everything. The job of the President of the United States is to stand up for truth.
That's not entirely.
The job of the President of the United States is to be a role model for our children.
Yeah, not a
and
role.
our grandchildren. It's whether it's UFOs or this problem of
So we need to pick
education.
an overweight man to be a role model.
Not that guy. 12-inch,
Give me the mail, Lizzo.
12-inch hole.
New Jersey.
He's not
and
funny,
drove
no, he
down to an all-time low popularity rating because they're putting themselves before our kids. That.
What does this have to do with UFOs?
Nothing. He doesn't want to answer that question. It's a stupid question. I don't fault him for this.
It's a stupid question. That's a really dumb question.
From the spin room right here.
You're a spinner. Shut it.
Hey, that's a casino in Vegas. As soon as they
Hey,
say,
who's that guy?
that's the MGM Grand.
Taking questions.
I'm next.
Good.
Damn.
So, hey, by the way, I should probably tell
I didn't know they were taking questions from the crowd. Vince at least has the foreign experience. Yeah, he definitely does.
Show every single day. You get a Friday show. You get Alex Jones is Alex Jones 2.0 on Fridays. You get Nick DiPaolo's show at Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. You're going to have Brian Callen's show, Hot Switch show. You support our investigative journalism unit. And we also have some animated series coming down the pike. None of it happens if not for you. Notice there are very, very few commercial breaks in tonight, which is an exhausting 3-hour stream. But I do have to, every now and then, this, Nick.
Did you say 3?
We like that.
His contract ends.
Wow, I've been going a little.
Shot again. Let's
Wake up, Nick.
Oh, did you really think that was happening in this?
I thought I heard a shot in the studio. I was waiting for Walter Cronkite, Vivek Ramaswamy, dead at 9:30 Eastern time.
Yes. I hate to interrupt this program.
So we like that. We like that.
The devil you know.
Sometimes we pull some pranks.
How long have we been on?
And about over 2 hours. Oh, good. And you know that Gerald is obviously a very devout Christian.
I do, because every time I say something off color,
I know. And there's, look, it's a mix. There's an intersect on it. Says, by the way,
it's risen.
yes. So by the way, we all agree on it. Hit the like button if you like this eclectic mix that's going on. But we like that a lot.
Love it, Nick.
And sometimes we pull up some pranks in the office. And because Gerald has often talked about, he's talked about. Well, yeah, you remember. So we pulled a little bit of a prank on Gerald this weekend.
I don't want to play their bits, but I like some of their coverage, but I don't like when I miss parts of the debate. They should pause it or something like that where you can skip around it. I even have a little bit of a delay on it, but I'm not managing it that much. I like their clips and all their other stuff. I just don't want to get in trouble for trying to share that kind of content and call it my own or something. I'm honestly just listening to them because I like their coverage of things, and I don't know. It doesn't give me too much influence one way or another. They're watching this just for fun, just like a lot of people are. If anybody's watching this, you're just watching it for fun because it's not going to have that much impact on the Republican Party. I think so too. I think he's been through the ringer a little bit recently, but he seems to have addressed it.
With the Antichrist and people dying left and right, but not left behind.
Let's just say that Sam is not that. Okay, so let's bring up the drinking game rules one more time.
Yeah.
They just had to help touch up Nick because he was shining like the greasy Sicilian that he is. We're going to stop. Take it easy. Anytime Donald Trump is mentioned, 2020, January 6th is mentioned, the moderator cuts off or interrupts a candidate. Anytime you have a thug life moment, and then you finish your drink anytime a candidate mentions a Democrat other than Joseph Biden.
Well, McAllen, Joseph.
Yeah.
They're pretty effective.
Yeah, I'm feeling it.
So we have the answer actually on that poll regarding disbanding the intelligence agency.
Yeah,
was I know it was overwhelmingly yes.
Overwhelmingly disband the FBI.
I'd be disappointed if it wasn't.
An hour until this is a long commercial break. Should we go to do you want to go to really quickly one of
Fact check. The fact checkers fact check.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So we actually have
Poll. Yeah,
there's the poll.
and it's gotten worse.
Several thousand votes.
Yeah,
Could be worse
they
than
definitely
90%
cover all their
agree with
sources,
Is that what it
and they
is?
won't
Is that
release
worse?
anything if it's not
By the way, can I
checked
get
out
an
pretty
answer from the
thoroughly.
chat? Why does someone use that hands like my hands smell like my grandmother's funeral?
I hate that.
Yes, it's just
Yes, sometimes my wife puts a shit on, comes in the living room. I get nauseous.
Yeah, it really does.
Maybe it's just
Just have a little therapy session for Nick.
a lady sit next to me on a plane with that.
Yeah,
And it's like going into a candle shop for 3 hours.
like someone punched her pellets all over my hands. So I don't know how long is this with Gerald again? Bring it up in the lower third so we can see that Birch Gold is still going right now. It's a commercial break.
No, I think they're coming back.
I think
this is the
that's the Reagan Library.
Let's see what we've raised so far.
They're doing this in September.
Oh, yeah, that's in September. You sat down with Marjorie Taylor Greene, or spent some time with Marjorie Taylor and some other candidates in Milwaukee. So follow that really quickly as we come back to
Started
the
a
debates.
coup not too
With
long
people
ago.
outside of DeSantis
Died
and Vivek, who no
allegedly.
one cares about.
I heard there's a lot of significant things going on over there, and it's weird how it's not being covered anymore. No, I don't know that specific.
So obviously you can see.
Thank you for sharing the link.
Margaret
Yeah.
Taylor Greene.
I can't look at it right now.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. The Biden crime family name is going around quite a bit. I'm hearing a lot of
Yeah, we probably shouldn't cover that interview. Yeah, I'm just listening to the debates, whatever part they can get up of it. They're waiting for the candidates to come back on stage. To give them a break. Evgeny Progulson. I can't do that. My worst attempt. The dude who was basically running the war. Okay. I still don't think, because of sheer size, that's going to make any difference. But I don't know, man. It's a sketchy situation. And I don't think people in the U.S. know much about it, to say the least. At least nothing that's portrayed on the news. I feel like we're kind of spoon-fed whatever we get. I don't know how many real good sources there are with news and what's going on in Russia and in the Ukraine that's not sourced from mainstream. I could be wrong. There might be some good ones out there, but I don't come across them. No, they're just taking a break. The debate's getting ready to start back up.
They drop out.
Lock her up. Let's go, Brandon. I finally got rid of that ticker. VPN. Oh no, it wasn't a VPN. It's an interview that they're doing right now. Were you asking if it was an ad?
What's happening? If there are good ratings on this, because I think with missing President Trump, I don't think people really are going to watch that much. But I predict that Rumble.
I don't know why they're playing this video over them out on stage again. Kind of annoying to me.
Without having stations that they're not interested in launching.
Herman, one of those evil Rusties that works for Putin, allegedly. Oh, to get the news from other countries. Yeah, that would probably be the best way to actually do it.
I'm asking you for your vote, and if you're I'm asking you to turn up your vote. You can go to votetimscott.com for more information or to make a contribution. Good job. Thank you, Brent. Thank you, Martha. Look, everybody on the
I love funnel cake.
the next president. And the only way that's going to
I spent 3 weeks.
go by. I'm the only one on this stage who's ever beat the Democratic incumbent. No,
Did you say beaten or eaten?
I did it in the deep blue state, being outspent 3-1. Beating a Democratic incumbent is not easy. The last Democratic incumbent president who was defeated was Jimmy Carter.
Weight Watchers isn't
And
easy.
he was defeated by
Brag about you beat a Democrat as a Republican in New Jersey.
Show me you
Not applause.
Yeah. Show me you can defeat your weight, and then I'll.
Hey, we're piling on
and
this.
stood strong, harsh as waste.
I beat a Democrat and
I will say he does fight hard against waste. He licks his plate clean.
Yeah.
As president of the United States.
You know, there's governors all over the world starving to death.
This is one for you. Some of the nominee who's never beaten the Democratic incumbent. I'm the one who can win this race if you give me the chance.
Chris Christie is cracking up.
By winning.
You couldn't win a fucking race.
Nikki Haley.
All right, Nikki,
Several weeks ago,
You're not going to be here
I
next
dropped
week, no?
my husband Michael, a combat veteran from Afghanistan,
Uh,
off at 4 a.m. for another year-long deployment. I watched
Couldn't
10
have been happier.
230 soldiers pick up their 2 duffel bags of balloons to go to a country they've never been, all in the name of protecting America.
yeah, not you.
They are willing to protect us from there. We should be willing to fight for America here. I will beat Joe Biden, and he knows that.
You're a
I will
globalist.
strengthen our economy. We'll bring this inflation down.
Yeah, it was.
With transparency in the classroom, we will secure our borders. We will have the backs of our law enforcement. We will make sure we have a strong national security. And once
I wouldn't
again,
know.
we will make sure we have an America that is strong and proud. We have a country to save. Join us. Go to NikkiHaley.com and let's get it
And
done.
I'll stop shopping at Marshall's. Okay, here it comes.
It's an honor to be here.
Shut your
Joe Biden has weakened America at home.
Still funny.
The disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, the war on energy, runaway spending that launched the worst inflation in 40 years, a crisis at our southern border, an assault on our values and liberties. And the American people have had enough. But I know we can bring it back. At different times call for different leadership.
Jesus.
Sorry, Mike.
It's out of a movie.
None of this is authentic.
It's like the guy playing a Republican movie, written by
Mr. John Pence years, you can turn this country around faster than you could imagine.
You could turn on a pickup truck, you think.
Because I have faith in the American people. You do good, decent, hard-working, faith-filled ideas.
You should have heard. I think Vivek performed better than anybody else tonight. Have a good night, Nada.
Renew our faith in Him, who has ever guided this nation since we arrived on these wilderness shores.
Where's he been the last 2 years?
No. We don't need to renew our.
Yeah, some of it is, but it's more because they'll take punches when they already have a political problem with the person.
Celebrate our diversity and our differences so much that we forgot all of the ways that we are really just the same as Americans, bound by a common set of ideals that set this nation into motion in 1776. And this is our moment to revive those common ideals. God is real. There are 2 genders. Fossil fuels
This is
are the
Vivek.
environment for human prosperity. Reverse racism is racism. An open border is not a border. Parents determine the education of their children. The nuclear family is the greatest form of governance known to man. Capitalism lifts us up from poverty. There are 3 branches of government, not 4. And the U.S. Constitution is the strongest guarantor of freedom in human history. That is what won us the American Revolution. That is what will win us the revolution of 2024.
And finally,
I don't know. I think he's gonna win it. He's the victim since Trump isn't there tonight. I don't know, whoever does well, I guess. Because everybody's, I think the closest person is DeSantis, and he's like 26 points behind or something like that. So this could change who's closer to Trump, but Trump's going to have a significant lead.
I'm a veteran who served in Iraq. I know what it means to put service above self. I'm also a dad and a husband.
And as long as they can't probably throw him under the bus on the way either. They can't be dicks about it. So he's watching and seeing who he's going to see who he needs to take shots at and who he can lay off of.
Delivered on all of those promises. 2024 is make or break. We're not getting a mulligan. No excuses. I will get the job done, and as your president, I will not let you down. God bless you all.
Sorry, you rushed through that. No, but I'm thinking very slow than I can possibly think of. They gave red light, you know. Yeah. They did. Well, they did. I guess we skipped some. Yeah.
What will I do with myself?
Dracula.
They did the worst first.
Yeah,
Because I gotta get back to Kinko's, but I had a great time.
First, I have to find the last remaining Kinkos.
Yeah. I don't know. I think DeSantis has good things. I think his funding is bad. He's funded by Soros and the Clinton family. So that's why I had my issues with him. But I think he's a better political candidate than Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump's too divisive. Yeah, I'm not about Disney's woke bullshit. I'm glad he spoke up about that. To be fair. But yeah, as long as there's two parties, that's why Trump can sit back right now. He doesn't have to come to the debates. There's no reason. It's not because Soros is liberal. That's not why. But yeah, I think he is liberal. But actually, I wouldn't even classify him as liberal. He's just money oriented. I don't really think he falls in a political party, to be honest. By his actions, I wouldn't call him a liberal. But his money seems to go that way. Trump would wipe the floor with these candidates. True, and he's already opened the polls. He really has no reason to show up. Just like I don't think they're going to. I'm still curious to see what's going to happen on the Democratic side, because either they're going to already pick Joe Biden, which a couple people have already came out and said that in the DNC, that they were going to pick him because he was sitting president, and why not if he wanted to run again. And everybody else was really pissed off. So I don't even know if they're going to have debates on the Democratic side, or if they're just going to come out front and then keep him in hiding for a little while. I mean, my only guess right now is if RFK can't run because they strangle out the throat of the Democratic Party, then it's just gonna be Biden and Trump. There's no other. The only thing that might make a third party is if Trump didn't get picked for the Republican nominee. I think that's also a move that would guarantee a Democratic victory, because it would split the vote drastically. Yeah, that'd be a wild one. I thought because I do want it to happen. I just know it'll really change the course of everything. Like, I wanted Bernie also to run as a third party candidate. I think he would have done a lot more in the previous election with Hillary Clinton, when he pretty much got screwed over by the Democratic Party, and then he backed out of the race, where I think he still had enough following where, like, I was actually going to vote for Bernie Sanders at that point. I ended up, because everything switched around, I ended up voting for Chiago. But that's another story. He said DeSantis is funded by Soros, but he donates to liberal candidates. He would never support DeSantis or Trump. I don't think supporting DeSantis is the same thing as supporting Trump. It depends on the agendas that are being pushed. That's why I said it wasn't. I don't really think he's party based. Is the best way I can put his is more money motivated. I don't think he's like full of liberal ideas. I think he backs liberal people because that's why I said that first statement. I think it's about money. Yeah, I thought RFK as a VP to Trump would be pretty cool too. Somebody suggested that earlier tonight. What are they doing now? Oh, they're just talking about it. Even Trump, Bernie might have beat him. Oh yeah, well, because he wouldn't have. It would have been hard for him to do that same attack against an old man, but it was easy against Hillary because she was really hated at the time. I mean, there's a lot of people that had issues with her. It wasn't because she got screwed over. Well, she didn't get screwed over in the election. She screwed up one of her candidates' chances. Like when I say candidates, I meant like Bernie. And there's some sabotage going on both sides. I just think it's, I don't know. It just worked out great. If Bernie was up there with Trump, the insult thing wouldn't have worked as well. Nobody wanted to see Trump up there berating an old man at that time. They might want to see it now. If he gets a chance to go up against Biden in a debate, I assume a lot of people would love to see that. Soros was a Jewish guy who came, his dad ratted out other Jewish folk in the Nazis during the war. I agree, but I believe Soros wouldn't back any conservative Republican candidacy. He is money oriented. It is so it's like if you think this candidate has a chance, it's like putting money down on, I feel like it's like putting money down on black when you're playing roulette or something like that. Just like, oh, okay, I think it might go this way. That's the kind of funding it is. And you can play both sides when you're betting too, even though you'll know, you'll have a feeling of which way it'll go more than the other, but you can still play both sides. Like that's why I say when it's money motivated, there's a lot, it's a lot deeper than left and right politics. It has nothing to do with that. I don't think if it's a Republican candidate, it has anything to do with it, or conservative. If you can see money from the outcome of it, that's what makes the difference. Because that's why Schmidt gave that example of he's considered a traitor by a lot of people, and he's willing to do that to. I don't know. It was kind of an interesting life he lived prior. No more hot takes on Soros. I don't think you're even allowed to talk about Soros on YouTube like that much. I don't know. I don't know what the rules are with that. They're not specific about that one. I know you're allowed to talk about election fraud now, or corruption or stuff like that. But that's the only new past that I knew of. Well, shit. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm going to wrap up. Have fun. Make babies. Catch Pokemon. All those fun things.